Merry Christmas. Hopefully that's not news to anybody, but it is. It is Christmas, December 25th. Big day, big day. That's a big day. I get a lot of people are like right now are probably having dinner, right? Like right now as we speak. I'm not. I get, what is it? I guess, it's for most people, it's the Christmas turkey, right? That's what they're gonna have the Christmas turkey. I think some people have ham. I think some people have, I know in Mexico, I think it's, is it tamales that they have? I think in Mexico, tamales. In my home, it's wine in a Grinch cup. That's Christmas. That's yeah. I cooked. I made some wine. It's actually not that funny. But I mean, it is good. It's you gotta have something. It's Christmas, so we're going live today. It's like probably some people we're gonna show up. It's one of these days that's kind of like a lot of people got nothing to do. A lot of people got something to do. So it is. Yes, it is Christmas, and a lot of. So what is it? It's 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. It's like right in that dinner, right smack in that dinner time. Well, it's actually kind of interesting. You ask yourself on Christmas. I think a lot of people, like especially North America, you take it kind of for granted that you cook it. What is it? What do most people cook? A turkey? Do people cook turkey? I mean, usually when I was growing up, my mother would cook schnitzels. We're half German, half Czech. So we would have schnitzels, potato salad. Sometimes she would make chicken cordon bleu. And, but I wonder that's an interesting question. What do other countries have for dinner? Let's make this live. Let's take a look. I just Googled it. Actually, I Gemini'd it. Gemini tells us Christmas dinner. What other countries have for dinner on Christmas? Christmas traditions vary slightly globally, often reflecting local climates and obviously local traditions. Makes sense. Historical influences and religious customs. While turkey is common in the UK and North America, many other countries prioritize distinct local specialties. I know a lot of people, they don't make turkey a big deal on Christmas. They make it a big deal in the US on Thanksgiving. Canadian Thanksgiving is turkey, ham, or lamb, or all three. I mean, I threw a lot of parties where we just had all three. It was just like a 20, 25 people get together and boom, eat. Those are good times. Food always makes a party, right? Food always makes a party. In Italy, the Feast of Seven Fishes, especially in the South, is a popular Christmas Eve tradition. And Christmas Eve is, I think, usually bigger in Europe, but involves having multiple seafood dishes in the North. Stuffed poultry or meat-heavy dishes like lasagna are common on Christmas Day. I love lasagna with a lot of meat. Just throw the meat on, please. Throw on the meat. Yeah. Love the meat. So that's Italy. In Germany, they have on Christmas, they have the traditional centerpieces, often roast goose, Weihnachtsgans. Yeah, my German's not as good as it used to be. Or roast carp. Oh, my mom used to make a carp for herself, served with red cabbage and potato dumplings. I remember having potato dumplings once, but it was almost always potato salad. My mom made great potato salad. In Poland, families observe Wigilia. The 12. Oh, I like 12 dishes. A 12-dish meatless. Okay, Lost me right there. Meatless, I'm gone. You know what? I just go to McDonald's, I think. A 12-dish meatless Christmas Eve feast. Staples include borscht. I don't like borscht. I'm done with Poland. I hate mushrooms. There's only 2 or 3 things I dislike in this world. It's basically borscht and mushrooms. Like, those are the 2 things, right? Dumplings, fried carp, and pierogi. Pierogi. In Sweden, the julbord is a massive buffet featuring pickled herring. Pickled herring? What do I hear? Swedish meatballs. Okay, that's okay, right? Swedish meatballs and a glazed Christmas ham. Sounds good. That sounds good. In France, known as Le Villon, this lavish meal often includes oysters, foie gras, lobster, and a roast bird like capon. Capon? Capon? I guess, capon. In Portugal, the traditional meal is, it's amazing how different every country is, right? The traditional meal is consoada, featuring boiled salted cod, bacalhau, yeah. I don't speak Portuguese. Does it show? With cabbage, potatoes, and hard-boiled eggs. Pretty standard. Cabbage, potatoes, hard-boiled eggs. In Japan, due to a successful 1970 marketing campaign, millions of Japanese oh my God. Millions of Japanese families order KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. I am going to Japan for Christmas, often months in advance. I guess you want to open up a KFC in Japan. Unbelievable. Did you know that? Due to a successful 1970s marketing campaign, millions of Japanese families order KFC. You heard that right. You don't need to do one of those. Kentucky Fried Chicken for Christmas. Wow. Philippines. The Noche Buena feast includes lechon, a whole roasted pig, and I think they keep the head on, right? They cook the thing with the head on. Queso de bola, Edam cheese, and a distinctive sweet-style spaghetti. I just don't need to have the tail, the head, or the neck. That's about yeah. You can have the neck. Yeah, you can have the neck. Don't worry. My mom used to do that. She said, "Give me that. Where's the neck? Where's the neck? Give me the neck." Oh my God. Australia and New Zealand, because Christmas falls in summer, many families opt for a barbecue. Fucking rights, that's awesome. Shrimp on the bobby, mate. Or cold seafood platters, followed by a pavlova, meringue. It doesn't look like it sounds. A meringue-based dessert with fresh fruit. That sounds amazing. I wonder if the hobbits have that. Do the hobbits have that in Hobbiton? In New Zealand? Mexico, tamales. Tamales are the holiday staple, often prepared during large family gatherings called tamaladas. The Mexicans, they know how to do it up, right? With family and all they do. They're pretty good with the whole thing with family. They are. It's a matter of fact. I have some of my best friends in Los Angeles are Mexican, and they got big families. Oh. In Brasilia, dinner often includes lombo at California, pork loin with, there's nothing better than a Brazilian barbecue, right? You go to the restaurants and they got all those things. It's amazing. Roast turkey and a rabanada, a Brazilian version of French toast. In Venezuela, halacas, corn dough stuffed with meat stew and wrapped in banana leaves. Really? And pan de jamon, bread filled with ham, olives, and raisins. Africa, Ethiopia, celebrated on January 7th. The fast is broken. They fast? So Ethiopia, sounds like they fast. The fast is broken with doro wat, a spicy chicken stew served on injera, a sourdough flatbread. And in South Africa, meals often take place outdoors due to the summer heat and feature braais barbecues and malt pudding for dessert. There you go. I mean, that's just a slice of part of the world. Just a little bit of the world. That's what's going on. Just in a little slice of the world. So it's, I think every country's got their own little traditions. I don't think I need that heater on. I was wondering, why am I hot? Oh, because there's a heater on right by your feet. Okay, that's yeah, that'll do it. So, and tomorrow, you can stay up as long as you want tonight. If in the United States, people in Britain, Canada, India, Australia, New Zealand, I've always had the 26th off. The 26th is Boxing Day. And now because of the pen executive order from Senior Trump, of course, the 26th, it's a holiday for government people, but usually when everything is closed, unless you work, like retail. I know Boxing Day, Boxing Day is huge in Canada. Boxing Day sales, if you guys want anyone probably lives near or on the border knows, they go, Americans, Canadians go back and forth. I've lived half of my adult life in Canada, half in the United States. So I'm well adjusted. I'm well adjusted. I'll tell you what, the healthcare sucks in America. I've lived in both countries for 20 years. Do not tell me which country has the better healthcare. And I'd like to punch Canadians in the face when they complain about their healthcare. Because it's free. It's free. Unlike living in Los Angeles, so would you rather have, let's say, living in Alberta, Canada, which is the only place in the world without rats? Do you know that Alberta, Canada has no rats? Google it. Google a map of rats, and you see the entire world in one place. And it's free healthcare in Alberta. In the United States, in America, when I lived in Los Angeles for 20 years, I was paying $1,000 per month for a $10,000 deductible. And the copay and all that stuff, everything. So basically, it's nothing. It's nothing, right? That's a problem. It's a big problem in the United States. But it is, like I said, I don't know how that came for Boxing Day tomorrow. It's not really called Boxing Day in the United States, but I'm sure one day soon, Congress has to enact legislation to make that a permanent thing. I mean, it's not a bad idea, right? 24th, 25th, 26th. I mean, why do you want to work on the 24th? I mean, making someone work on the 24th is kind of mean, unless you're like, I don't know. It's retail, obviously retail, right? You work at a retail store, you work food, grocery store, something like that. You're going to have to work. But I think a lot of industries, they don't need to be open the 24th or 26th. But big Boxing Day sales, man. I hope, because then a lot of families actually celebrate Christmas on the 20th, or actually afterwards, right? They do a pre-New Year's Christmas because you save 80%. You save 80% on everything. The countries with Boxing Day sales. I'm telling you, this is not a bad thing for America. You might find Christmas being celebrated on the 27th or the 28th because, or at least the presents are being opened. Look, I'll buy your. Yeah, okay. I know. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I know where I'm getting. And you know what? Look, if you're gonna save money, that's what it's all about, guys. Save money. Skinwalker, are you my dad? No, I'm not. No, I'm not old enough to be a dad. I'm not old enough to be a dad. I'm still in my teens, bruh. Silkwalker says, yeah, but don't they have to wait like days for surgery they need? No, if you need surgery, you get it in Canada. If you need it, if it's life or death. My dad got cancer. He was in chemo and radiation therapy and nutrition therapy in 6 days. In 6 days after he was diagnosed. 6 days, Skinwalker. Anything now, if you have elective surgery or like surgery that you don't have to have, Even in the United States, they'll push it back. They'll push it back weeks, months, right? You have a knee surgery, you need knee surgery, but you'll work at a desk. The insurance company will push it back. Like, they don't care if you don't have to have it done. But if you have to have it done in Canada, you get it done, you know? If it's life-threatening, you get it done. Like all the rumors and stuff, like, holy jeez. What's the point? Would you rather have a health insurance you can't afford so you don't have any health insurance and you go bankrupt when you hurt yourself? Or have free insurance, you go have a baby, it costs you nothing. You go to the emergency room, it costs you nothing. You go see a doctor, it costs you nothing. I mean, it's shocking to me. When I was in Los Angeles for 20 years, to have heard that it's still free in Canada, I mean, I was shocked. Freaking shocked. Healthcare has got to change in the United States. I mean, it has got to change, right, guys? Everybody. John Connor. This guy is hilarious. Thanks, John. It's John Connor. Come with me, John Connor, or you die. Yeah, that's a big problem in the United States. Huge. Most people go bankrupt on health insurance, right? Or health procedures, health stuff. And then people don't even go to the doctor to get checked out because it's too expensive. They're scared of that $5,000 bill because the doctor's going to say cough. That's $600. What? Oh, man. No, I don't know. No, I mean, hey, you know what's the solution? I don't know. You know what? Someone asked last week, and I wanted to bring it up. I was going to bring it up yesterday. Isaac. Someone asked about Isaac Asimov. Isaac Asimov. Do you guys know the name? I knew the name, but what I like doing, and I actually even like doing better, because we're science, sci-fi kind of a channel. So when people bring up stuff from all different corners, philosophy, science, biology, physics, it is impossible to know everything and all these names, right? But Isaac Asimov, and I remembered where I knew his rope. Okay, at the stage, that's what we want, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. So, and then so when I Googled it, I said, oh yeah, of course, Isaac Asimov, right? This is a guy. And I thought it was really interesting. And it's just like just throwing in randomly here into a show. But basically, the 3 laws of robotics are a set of ethical guidelines. And I say robotics because in the sense of AI, this kind of becomes important, right? Guidelines devised by science fiction author Isaac Asimov to govern the behavior of artificially intelligent robots, first introduced in his 1942 short story Runaround. Now, in 1942, he's quite intuitive. Let's just get to the meat and potatoes here. Rule number 1, a robot cannot harm a human or allow a human to be harmed through inaction. Number 2, a robot must follow human orders unless they conflict with the first law. The first law of don't talk about Fight Club, and kind of like the same thing, right? And number 3, a robot must protect itself unless it conflicts with the first or second law. I mean, it's quite intuitive for a guy in 1942 putting it together, right? So, the short story Runaround, and later appearing in the collection of iRobot, these laws are designated as hard-coded safety features in a robot's positronic brain to prevent them from turning against their creators. That's what we got there. Oh yeah. Well, that's something's got to happen. Yeah. I just wanted to throw that in there because I did put it up, and it was just before Christmas. Someone had brought it up, and I thought, you know what? Actually, and you know what? It's kind of on that side, when we're talking about Boxing Day, what is Boxing Day? Do you know what Boxing Day is? Boxing Day, which is now, it's kind of like being celebrated in the United States now, right? Boxing Day is a secular holiday celebrated annually on December 26th. That is tomorrow, my friends. Primarily in Great Britain and Commonwealth, such as Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, and the United States of America. America will call it Boxing Day eventually. The origins are the name Boxing Day has served several historical theories, none of which relate to the sport of boxing. I don't know who really thought that, but servant holidays in the 19th century, servants of the wealthy were required to work on Christmas Day. On December 26th, they were given the day off and presented with Christmas boxes containing gifts, bonuses, and leftover food to take to their own families. Are you gonna finish that, sir? Are you gonna finish? Could I have that? Can you put that in my box tomorrow? Yeah, that piece of big hunk of white meat right there, that big chunk. Although I do like some dark meat too, right? You gotta have I like a good mix on my turkey. Alms boxes. Churches traditionally set out donation boxes, alms boxes during Advent. These boxes were opened and the contents distributed to the poor on December 26th. Well, it's nice to see the church is doing something, I guess, right? Ooh, there's a dig. Hey, there's a dig. There's a little church dig. Little bit. St. Stephen's Day, the holiday coincides with the Christian feast of St. Stephen, the first martyr known for his charitable acts. And of course, shopping, much like Black Friday in the US, is one of the busiest retail days of the year, featuring massive Boxing Day sales. So everyone in the United States, this is going to be, if it catches on, I'm telling you, as someone who has lived both in the United States and Canada, these Boxing Day sales are insane. You're talking 80% off. Anything that is there for Christmas, anything, Christmas ornaments, products that they brought in for Christmas that didn't sell. A lot of times it's coats and mitts and all that stuff. It is just on firehouse sale. So hopefully it comes to America, because that is a great way to save money. And again, a lot of families push celebrating Christmas an extra 3 days past Boxing Day because you just save so much money. But anyway, that's all we need to do there. That is just because tomorrow is Boxing Day. Like I say, it's kind of like the first Boxing Day in the United States, in these United States of America. Yes. I think it's exciting. And that kind of brings me to, we had a pretty good show yesterday. Quite a lot of people. And I did a little survey, and there was a consensus. I did a history of Santa Claus, history of Santa. And so I asked, maybe I should do a history of Christmas. And it was like, the people said yes. So I thought, okay, I started with a 10 slides of Christmas. And it wasn't enough, because actually, you know what? The history of Christmas on a slide basis would be huge, because the history of Christmas is massive. So basically, it took a while just to, use this, let's use this. You keep it more secular, religious. I kept it a little bit more secular than religious, more on a historical basis. But I did do, like I said, a history of Christmas on a slideshow presentation. Let's pull that up from my computer, upload file. Yes, history of Christmas. Ooh, I'm gonna have a little bit of wine. Merry Christmas to everybody. This is my Christmas dinner. It's red wine. I made it myself. No, I didn't. Ooh, well deserved. So, history of Christmas. The history of Christmas. Oh, I got to fix a few things here. How come they're not? I see what I did. I screwed up. Sorry. There we go. History of Christmas. It's kind of like, it's kind of like something you say sitting around the fire with all the kids. Well, this is actually more of an adult thing. It's kind of deep. The history of Christmas, my friends. Christmas is not a single tradition born in one moment. It is a result of ancient seasonal rituals, Roman festivals, early Christian theology, imperial politics, medieval customs, and modern cultural reinvention. To understand Christmas fully, you have to follow how power, belief, and tradition merged over centuries, especially during the rise of Christianity during the Roman Empire. Of course, Emperor Constantine, who is probably, I mean, don't thank Jesus, thank Emperor Constantine and his mother Helen, who is now Saint Helen. Saint Helen now, right? It was, but it was Emperor Constantine that legalized it. He did a lot of things. I also have a 10-point slideshow of what Emperor Constantine did for Christianity. It is extensive. Without Emperor Constantine, in the early 4th century, and this is historically, historical stuff. You're not gonna, this is the real meat and potatoes of history. And I think the important thing is December 25th goes way back, right? Prehistoric winter solstice traditions. Yeah, you see Stonehenge there, and it even goes back beyond that. And why it was, well, let me read this first. Long before written history, early humans, and you're going back thousands of years, early humans marked the winter solstice as the turning point when days began growing longer. It symbolized survival, rebirth, and hope during the harvest time of the year, harshest time of the year. Archaeological evidence shows monuments like Stonehenge were aligned to track this seasonal shift. And basically, the December 25th, and why that is, visually, it's the first day that you can visually detect a change that the days are actually growing longer. So it has always been, and during the Roman times, pagan holidays, and there was a major, well, we'll learn about that in a couple of slides. The major Roman holiday was on the 25th. So to make things easy, I'm getting ahead of myself, but but this started back, thousands of years, thousands. Even the Egyptians, right? It was a big day. It was a big day because it is literally when the day gets longer. Solar worship in the ancient world, many civilizations worshipped sun deities, celebrating the rebirth of the sun after the solstice. Light overcoming darkness became a powerful and universal symbol. This theme appeared independently across many cultures, from Egypt to Persia to Mesoamerica. And that really is a big thing, right? That's virtually every culture. Even go to the Aztecs and the Mayans, right? The Mayans, almost everything was about the equinox and the solstice. But on the 25th of December, it marked the day where the day started getting longer, which was a big deal to a lot of these early cultures. Number 3, Roman Saturnalia. Did I pronounce that right? I think it is Saturnalia. Was a major Roman festival on December 25th featuring feasts. Now that also went back into the ancient Greek days, where the 25th, I forgot what they called it. I love ancient Greece. Like ancient Greece to me is, it is literally the cradle of civilization, right? Everything great came from Greece as the basis for civilization. Feasts, gift giving, public celebrations, and social role reversals. Its sprint of indulgence and generosity deeply influenced later Christmas customs. During Saturnalia, normal rules were suspended, reinforcing its reputation as a time of chaos and joy, which is basically means celebration, chaos and joy. But so the 25th was already a huge day in Rome, right? In Roman culture, in the Roman Empire. Which again dates back pre-Rome to Greece and all the other cultures that preceded it. Early Christianity avoids birthdays, so the earliest Christians did not celebrate Jesus' birth at all. And a lot of people don't know this. Early Christians' focus was on resurrection, not birth, and birthdays were often viewed as pagan traditions. Some early Christian writers even criticized birthday celebrations as morally inappropriate. Morally inappropriate. Well, I don't know if that's, number 6. Jesus' birth date is actually unknown. It is not known. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that it's in August 3rd, 8th, or 23rd. There's a few dates, but it's going to be in the summertime. given where the northern star is, the fact that the sheep are out grazing and all this other stuff. The Bible never gives a date for Jesus' birth. Shepherds in the fields mentioned in the Gospels suggested likely did not occur in the winter. Scholars widely agree that December 25th is symbolic rather than historical. And it just makes sense, right? Because right around the time when Emperor Constantine legalized Christianity, the Persian, and a lot of things gave benefit to Christianity at that time. A lot of, like, believe me, like all of a sudden went from a persecuted property was taken away from Christians to basically all of a sudden, because Constantine's mom, Helen, she went to the Holy Land once it was legalized. And I mean, it was a big deal, right? Very big deal. Constantine the Great legalizes Christianity. I'm not religious though, so I'm agnostic. But that's good. I mean, that Constantine issued the Edict of Milan, ending persecution of Christians and allowing Christianity to move into public life. This political shift made large-scale Christian holidays possible. For the first time, Christianity could operate openly with state protection and resources. So instead of being fed to the lions on Christmas, they were feeding on, well, not feeding on lions, but they were no longer. And of course, the story is that in that battle that they were going to Constantine, they say that he saw a comet. They're not sure, and I believe they might have discovered which comet in the middle of the day that's racing across the sky. Or actually, I think it was turned into a meteor. Right? It wasn't a comet, because once a comet hits, or an asteroid, once it hits our atmosphere, it becomes a meteor. If it hits the ground, it is a meteorite. So, just to be specific on that. Number 8, Christianity becomes an imperial tool, which is probably why it was. I mean, Constantine was not a nice man. He was a planner. He planned. Constantine supported Christianity as a unifying force for the Roman Empire. Well, it gave him more power. And standardizing beliefs and celebrations helped stabilize a fractured empire. Nothing is good when there's chaos in the streets. Religion became a means of political cohesion rather than a purely spiritual movement. And that was really, from that perspective, it was a brilliant move on Constantine's part, right? You can imagine those times when you got crazy stuff going on in the streets, you got riots, you got fights, you got murders, instability. Well, you know what? And your mother's a Christian, Mother Helen. Well, she says, "Oh, son, just legalize it. Just legalize it." But hey, at the end of the day, Constantine was a brutal murderer. He really was. He wasn't a nice guy. I mean, you could go in depth on Constantine, but what he did for Christianity was huge. December 25th becomes Christmas. When? 336 AD. That should be CE, right? It shouldn't. I think they stopped saying. Either way, it doesn't matter. Church leaders selected December 25th as celebration. They selected it, right? They selected it, and that's like a lot of things. When the Bible was put together, that was because of Constantine. He called in all the priests, and basically he said, "Give me 48 hours." 48 hours. They came out and they couldn't agree. And Constantine says, "You got 48 hours, and after that, you're dead." They came to a consensus. They did. They came to a consensus. Church leaders selected December 25th as a celebration of Jesus' birth, likely to align Christianity with existing Roman festivals rather than replace them outright. This strategy made conversion easier by presenting familiar seasonal traditions. If Christianity is being celebrated with all the other pagan celebrations, it makes things a lot easier for conversion. You don't have to try and set up a whole new date. You don't got to revise your marketing materials. All this stuff. It works out pretty good. Number 10, medieval Christmas expands across Europe. Yes, we're in the medieval times. Arguably, probably not even arguably, the shittiest time to have ever lived unless you're like maybe a noble or like that top 1%. But if you're like the Festivus for the rest of us, Your life sucked in the medieval times. During the Middle Ages, Christmas became a central religious festival with extended feasts, church services, music, public celebration, lasting up to 12 days. At least they knew how to do it, right? I mean, I wouldn't mind having 12 days, right? It starts on the 23rd and it goes till January 6th, which is what it's supposed to be, right? Because that is the January 6th is the supposed to be the end of Christmas, right? That's the I forgot what it's called. The holiday blended church ritual with folk traditions unique to each region. A snowy man. You know, I'll get to that. A snowy man. I'll get to that. Let me finish this baby off. Let's go number 11, St. Nicholas and the roots of gift giving. In the history of Santa Claus, we did the whole history of St. Nicholas, which was 4th century saint, or 3rd century, 4th century, 4th century. He lived in the 300s. And basically St. Nicholas is jolly old Saint Nick, right? And so last couple of days I did do the history of Santa Claus, but Saint Nicholas, known for secret generosity, inspired traditions of charitable giving that later evolved into modern Santa Claus myths. And there's a lot of things that went to mold the whole Santa Claus thing, right, over time. Even Coca-Cola in 1931 with the Coca-Cola commercial basically solidified the whole conceptual idea of what Santa Claus looked like. Coca-Cola has had a lot to do with the look of Santa Claus, believe it or not. Stories about him spread across Europe through oral tradition and church legend. Yeah, I mean, that's give it up for Santa Claus. He worked hard last night. We were here on the channel. We were watching him go all. I mean, his flight path was terrible. Obviously, he had a few pints, a few dark stouts, a few dark ales. I think he had most of them in London. That's where I think most of them. Yeah, but we don't really. Now we're getting to some interesting stuff. This is. Christian is suppressed in the 1600s. Puritans, remember the Puritans, viewed Christmas as pagan and excessive. In England and colonial America, Christmas celebrations were banned and discouraged by law. In some places, people were fined simply for observing the holiday. From what I understand, there's some people even burned, or beaten or something. Like some of these Puritans were crazy. Nutso. I think that, yeah. Number 13, Victorian reinvention of Christmas during the 1800s. The Victorian period was like a little mini Reformation of sorts, right? Industrialization reshaped Christmas into a family-centered holiday. Decorations, cards, and gift giving became widespread. Urban life and mass production helped standardize Christmas traditions across society. And of course, with the printing press and standardized marketing and all these things that start to come out, I think there's something really nice about a traditional old style Christmas, right? Even like you talk about the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. There's something really nice about the simplicity of that kind of a Christmas, right? I mean, whether it's religious for you or whether it's about Santa Claus. For me, it's not really a religious thing, but I absolutely do not. I like singing the songs. I absolutely respect, everyone's desire to have their religious, whatever they do on Christmas Day. It's a personal choice, and I fully support it. And this is actually a lot of people do not know that Charles Dickens and The Moral Christmas, 1843, had a big thing to actually help form Christmas. The Christmas Carol reframed Christmas as a season of compassion, generosity, and social responsibility, influencing how the holiday is viewed to this day. The story helped shift Christmas away from excess and toward empathy and reform. Well, look, you got the nice, look at him. Look, he's got the big spread. Charles Dickens, Christmas Carol. And our final slide for the history of Christmas. Christmas is both religious and secular. It is, right? Blending faith, tradition, commerce, media, and global culture into one of the most widely recognized holidays in the world. Its meaning now varies widely depending on culture, belief, and personal tradition. Yeah. And one more slide to summarize the history of Christmas. Christmas survives not because it remained unchanged, but because it evolved. It absorbs solstice rituals, Roman festivals, right in the really early times, right? When Constantine legalized it, imperial politics, religious belief, and modern culture. Understanding its history reveals a deeper truth. Traditions endure when they adapt. And Christmas is one of the clearest examples of humanity reshaping meaning across time. And that is because really the 25th is a holiday for multiple pagan religions. Secular, it's Santa Claus. It's all these things. And whatever your reason for celebrating Christmas is, it's your reason. There's a lot of influences going back 10, 12, 20,000 years on December 25th. That is literally the first day that you can visually discern a change in the amount of light in the horizon. And that has always been, historically, the reason for a lot of pagan religions. Not even religions, but cultures and reasons for doing things, reasons to celebrate. They celebrated. Okay, the days are getting longer, and the sun god is now defeating the night god. Right? Ra is finally winning. Who was the darkness god in Egypt? Was it not? No, Osiris was. Who was the god of night in Egypt? Nephthys, sister of Isis, who protected the dead and journeyed with the sun god Ra through the underworld. Okay, no, I don't think the Egyptians had that back and forth fight between in the same way that I think like some of the other cultures had. So that was the Greeks, right? The Greeks had that with the sun and everything like that. But the gods of Egypt. Right, the gods of Egypt. Who did Ra fight then? Hades. No, Hades. No. Damn, I'm getting all my. Who did? Oh, the giant serpent Apep. Yeah. Apophis. Ooh. Asteroid Apophis is coming in 2029, right? Every night. So yeah, in ancient Egypt mythology, the sun god Ra fought against the giant serpent Apep, also known as Apophis, every night to ensure the sun would rise again the next morning. Let me. Okay. Oh yeah, Gerard Butler played Set in Gods of Egypt. Do you guys see Gods of Egypt? You know what? It probably, like most movies, is probably aging better than it was back then because so many movies are garbage. I watched it once, and it was a little bit disappointing. But it might be an okay movie now. There's so many things. One of the movies I put out there is the Oliver Stone movie Alexander. Didn't do that well when it was released, but it was a passion project for Oliver Stone, Alexander the Great with Colin Farrell. It's a pretty good movie. There's some highlights in it. It's worth a casual watch, and I think there's a lot of movies like that. Even when you look at what was that the superhero one with the she had the. Boy, I tell you, my brain is yeah. Jennifer Gardner. Oh, she looked good in what's that character's name? Electra. The first Electra was actually a better movie than a lot of people gave it credit for. That's what I thought. I thought it was a much better movie than most people actually gave it credit for. The story's pretty good. The story is sound. Especially when you compare it to a lot of movies today. It's really good. I mean, I think you could go back to a lot of movies and watch them today from years back, and they've aged pretty good. We also have, so I want to do this too, because I put this slideshow together. It's the history of, what are they doing? Your computer. Emperor Constantine. I have a 10-point slide presentation that, because when you go through like the history of Christmas, you see how important Emperor Constantine was. It really well could be without Emperor Constantine, Christianity would never even be legal, right? After this, I have a interview with Joe Rogan and Dan Farah of Age of Disclosure, talking about the aliens. I watched Age of Disclosure. Again, it is full of half-baked goods. There's nothing, as always, there's nothing there. There's no evidence. But we do have that interview. And I'm always open to the conversation. I'm always open to the argument of aliens. Always looking to hear other people's reasoning, why they believe in aliens. The discussion is a good one. It's a vibrant one. A snowy man did make if morality were relative, we can't judge others' actions as right or wrong. Objective morality speaks with authority. That authority walked among us. Emmanuel, Merry Christmas. Well, you can. I'm not. I don't think it's. Where Christianity pulls their or Judaism, wherever someone pulls their morality from. Look, you can easily argue. I could argue as an agnostic and say, look, if you need a deity to tell you thou shalt not kill, I'm actually concerned for your entire belief system, because you don't need a deity to remind you thou shalt not kill. And that's not even in the 10 Commandments. I mean, thou shalt not hurt children. There's so many things that are not in the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not worship false idols. Little dated. I mean, we should go through the 10 Commandments. I mean, I don't want to turn this into, I'm more into science fiction and sci-fi. But look, morality is a human condition for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. It is just a matter of fact. It is ingrained inside of us. That is, the morality is something that is not religious based. It's like morality did not start. Otherwise, then Emperor Constantine then started morality, because he's the one that actually put the Bible together. He's the one that actually said yes to Christianity. Without him, there probably wouldn't be Christianity without Emperor Constantine, which we're going to go through right now. But look, whatever you believe, I respect it. I respect someone's belief system. It's just here. It's, on this channel, it's science. We do science. Our belief system is relegated upon actual fact, actual things that we can, it's a belief system based on blind faith is, it's different. I'll be, because of the day, I'll leave it ambiguous. It's different. This is my dinner. I gotta have some wine. This is kind of my dinner. I turned this water. I had this cup actually had water in it earlier today. I turned it into wine. Are you impressed yet? God, what a good. This, yeah. Let me take that down so we can see. There we go. Yeah. So here we go. Emperor Constantine. Then we're getting into aliens. Mofo aliens. It's Boxing Day tomorrow in the United States. Boxing Day. Okay, let's Oh, gee, I thought I had the. There we go. Emperor Constantine. And this, of course, is Emperor Constantine as it relates to Christianity, this is huge. And this is the historical, right? Not the religious info, the historical. Emperor Constantine and Christianity. Before Christianity became the dominant religion of the Western world, it existed on the margins, often persecuted, divided, and politically powerless. That changed dramatically under the rule of Constantine the Great. No. Look, that is literally the first time I've ever said, I think, Constantine the Great. There's only one great. There is only one freaking great, and that is Alexander the Great. He proved his greatness, not Constantine. He's just, to me, he's Emperor Constantine. Personal, as a student of history, I love antiquity. I love historical history. Constantine was not great. Whose decisions reshaped not only the fate of Christianity, but the structure of religion itself, whether driven by faith, politics, or survival of the empire. And I think that's the key word, survival of the empire. He wasn't a dumb man. He was quite brutal. Constantine's actions permanently altered how Christianity was practiced, organized, and understood. Early Christianity, margins of society often prosecuted, divided, and powerless. Arguably, Christianity would have gone extinct sooner than later if it continued to go the way it was. The turning point, rule of Constantine the Great, I'm not going to say it. I totally forgot to change that. Dramatically changed its fate. This lasting impact. It was also his mother, right? His mother had a huge impact because she was Christian, right? Constantine's mother, Helen, who is also Saint Helena now. And this is just the historical, right? This is his historical Constantine. Decisions reshaped religious structure, altering practice, organization, and underlying, whether driven by faith or politics. Constantine legalized Christianity. Constantine issued the Edict of Milan, which ended state-sponsored persecution of Christians and allowed them to practice their faith openly across the Roman Empire. This single act transformed Christianity from an illegal faith into a protected religion overnight. So he ended Christian persecution. Before Constantine, Christians were imprisoned, executed, or forced into hiding. His rule brought centuries of official persecution to an end, allowing Christians to worship publicly without fear of punishment. And that's why you argue without Constantine. Look, Jesus is one thing, but Emperor Constantine is the savior of Christianity. From a secular perspective, from a historical perspective, and that's the way. I'm not a religious person. I just look at things purely from a historic perspective, and it's impossible to argue that fact. I mean, it really is. He also returned confiscated Christian property, but there is reasons for that. Church buildings, land, and property seized during persecutions were returned to Christian communities. This allowed churches to rebuild physically and financially after generations of suppression. So he literally helped finance and rebuild the entire structure of Christianity. Again, Emperor Constantine he is the savior of that religion. And you got to think, because Muhammad he looked at Jesus as his that was his kind of like map, right? For Islam. Would Islam exist in its, if Emperor Constantine could be one of the most influential people in history, right? And when you really take a look at it. Funded the construction of churches. Constantine used imperial funds to build major churches, including early versions of St. Peter's Basilica and the Church of the Holy I hate that word. Sepulchre. It is sepulchre. It's like 1,000 ways to pronounce it. These structures symbolize Christianity's new status as a favored religion in the empire. Oh, wait till we get to the aliens. Oh, yeah. He called the Council of Nicaea, 325 AD. This is huge. Like, honestly, I don't know why Christians don't celebrate Emperor Constantine. Like, really. December 25th should be like the birth of Emperor Constantine. Constantine convened the first major ecumenical council to resolve deep divisions within early Christianity, especially over the nature of Jesus and his relationship to God. There was actually, at the early Nicaea, they weren't sure whether they were going to pick Jesus as the Savior, right? Because there was other names in there for discussion during this council, the first council meeting. He believed that religious conflict threatened the political stability and cohesion of the Roman Empire. I mean, this is a lot more just basic history, right? Helped define core Christian doctrine. The Council of Nicaea produced the Nicene Creed, enforcing a specific interpretation of Jesus's divine nature. And it was a secular meeting, right? While labeling competing views as heresy, while the council did not formally choose the biblical canon, it set the precedent for which beliefs and eventually which texts were considered acceptable, punishing alternative Christian traditions to the margins where many were later suppressed, banned, or lost to history. No, they were burned. They were burned at the Council of Nicaea. All these scrolls and everything that didn't make it into the Bible were destroyed. They were destroyed. It was a travesty of historical proportions that we lost so much history because the Council of Nicaea basically said this is all we need and everything else is heresy. It's unfortunate, very unfortunate. Integrated Christianity into the imperial governance. Under Constantine's rule, Christian bishops were granted official authority within the Roman legal and political system, often acting as judges, advisors, and power brokers. Again, this is where, without this, Christianity would not have been anything. I probably wouldn't exist today. You could argue that easily. This permanently fused church leadership with state power, transforming Christianity from a spiritual movement into an institutional partner of the empire, and tying religious authority to political loyalty, which is why I say December 25th should celebrate Emperor Constantine for the Christians. It really should. Just being real here, my friends, just being real. Funded the Holy Land campaign led by Helena, right? His mother, when he legalized it, he put a ton of money into a huge band of soldiers and his mother Helena going to the Holy Land, trying to find everything, the cross, everything dealing with. She found nothing, which makes you think, well, did he exist? But she built a lot of the old churches back up, spent a lot of money, so she became Saint Helena. Constantine financed a massive imperial invasion of the Holy Land led by his mother Helena to identify, preserve, and promote key Christian sites. This campaign resulted in the construction of major churches and permanently anchored Christianity to specific sacred locations. This is our history lesson. This is human history in action. And the last one paved the way for Christianity to become the state religion. Again, this is all because of Emperor Constantine, not Jesus. Emperor Constantine. If it wasn't for him, none of this would have happened. So although Constantine did not officially declare Christianity the state religion, his policies made that outcome inevitable. Later emperors built directly on his foundation to establish Christianity as dominant across the empire. And that is historically a matter of fact, right? That is... I am surprised that they don't consider Constantine a much more bigger influence in Christianity, because without that mofo, man, I don't know what you got. Constantine did not invent Christianity, but he transformed it from a persecuted movement into an imperial institution. By merging faith with state power, he ensured Christianity's survival, expansion, and eventual dominance, but also tied it to politics, doctrine, and authority in ways that still echo today. Understanding Constantine is essential to understanding how Christianity moved from underground belief to a global force. And that is it. That is all for history today. We got to get to freaking aliens and space, because that's what we do best. We got to do it. We had to do a little bit of history, right? We had to. That's look. It's part of the Dimension Zero doctrine. History, philosophy, space, sci-fi. We do it all, my friends. We do it all. Democrats blaming Obamacare failure on the other party is crazy. Democrats blaming Obamacare failure on the other party is crazy. I don't. Well, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Well, most people could probably agree. There's probably a select few that would probably say Obamacare is a success. I would, just from a pure, I'm a science guy, right? So I'm a science guy. I just, you try and deal in just pure facts, pure. But Johnny, I guess I get it. I try not to get political on Dimension Zero. Healing through energy. Look, hey, I am a believer. One of my best friend's father was a very significant in Hindu. He was a meditation expert, leader. And I learned quite a bit about meditation. I am not against meditation. I believe meditation is actually helps. And I think there's scientific evidence, which is what is important to me. Scientific evidence that proves meditation and the idea of just taking even just a few minutes, right? Closing your eyes, relaxing, focusing on relaxing all your muscles, that it is proven that it helps recharge and build neurons as much as anything else. So Jeshua is Q. Jeshua is the creator. Jeshua is here. We love you, dear Jeshua. I mean, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna no comment. To me, I really don't care what someone believes. I mean, I believe in, I believe in. I'm a science guy, so if someone chooses blind faith as their belief system, okay, you know what? I learned a long time ago. You're not a science guy if you take things at face value. Of course not. Who's taking things at face value? Matthew Singh? I mean, it's a good point. You can't take things at face value. Things must be studied. Things must be put through the scientific method. I would agree with you 100% with that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Verify. Yes. You're talking my language, my friend. You're talking my language. Verify. It must pass scrutiny. And then it just like all science, right? Mathea Singh. It must go through peer review. And I think that is one of the most stressful things for scientists when they come up with a theory, when they put it through peer review. It is incredibly stressful, right? Because all of a sudden you get the whole thing ripped apart. And based on the scientific method that you use to derive your outcome, the peer review is going to, give you one of these or one of these. And you're absolutely right. That's the way you do it. And a belief system predicated upon that is a very strong belief system, right? You just can't believe something because someone said it. And as you said, you're not a science guy if you take things at face value. Yes, I would fully agree with that. If bedbug, what is this? I'm gonna read it. If bed bugs live in bed and fruit flies eat fruit, does that mean that you son of a God? I thought I shouldn't read this. D's. I said there's something. Yeah. There's something bad about this. I know there is. I know. So aliens, my friends, aliens. So there's about a 50. So a little thing about with Joe Rogan. I've done a review on Age of Disclosure, and the whole. There's going to be a lot of alien stuff going on this channel, because it seems to be a very significant point of contention discussion between people who believe. Well, science is a belief system. Mathea, science does not invite you to have a belief system, but science is a belief system. Science, but its very process is a belief system, right? So I agree with sort of how you use the words to define that, but in itself, science is. And D, Merry Christmas from XD. Merry Christmas, you cockroach, you son of a gun. But science is a belief system in itself, because science is a process. And if you use that process to establish your belief system, you will be arguably have at least a belief system that is rooted in fact or things that are reliable, dependable, right? That might be what you're saying, Matea. Matea. Hopefully, am I pronouncing it right? Let me get rid of So we finished. It's like school. It's like school too. We finished history class. What I do like every time, like a lot of time, people in the chat they'll bring something up, and I do like jumping onto it, and because it's literally when you're learning, you're having fun. Like I'm not. Look, every Wednesday is Chuck Norris Day. We do 12 of how tough is Chuck Norris memes. That's every Wednesday. So we didn't do it yesterday because of Christmas Eve. So next Wednesday we'll do it. But having fun and talking, shooting the poop is just as good as talking some science, learning bits and pieces about biology, history, philosophy, physics, space science, all that stuff, right? Learning should be as fun as anything else. And it is. It is. I learned so much stuff just off of chat from people saying stuff, except from what Dee said about the bed bugs. I'm not sure if I learned anything about that. Or maybe I did, actually. Shit, maybe I did. But what I do like is the fact that there are a lot of smart people out there that are sort of, between everything that are a pleasure to chat with. So I do appreciate, I appreciate you guys all stopping by. I really do. Because I love science. I love talking real stuff. I'm a screenwriter and an English philosophy major. So I love screenwriting. I write sci-fi. I've won a lot of awards. And a hobbyist astrophysicist, I guess you would call it. A scientific method is based on the premise that there are things that different subjective observers will agree on and that things are able to replicate. That is not a belief system. I would disagree. Science is a belief system. Science is the process. So the scientific method is a process, right? The scientific method is a process. So if that is the process by which you base your belief system on, it is a belief system. So, look, the scientific method it can be more things at the same time, right? It can be. I guess you have to assume that all observers are subjective. We all have built-in biases. So I agree with that. I think that is a very good statement. And but this process of science is, so we all agree 1 + 1 = 2. In science, we agree on the acceleration of gravity on Earth, which is 9.8 meters per second squared. We all agree, the laws of the Newtonian laws. There's certain things, and which is the scientific method that gives us the basis to have the beliefs in these things. Because without these beliefs, the reason we have cell phones is because the science works almost 100% of the time, right? Cell phones are built off of a matter of fact. And without that science, you don't build cell phones using 2,000-year-old scrolls you find in caves. I mean, that's for religion. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Religion has never built a cell phone. never has. We are going to get freaking aliens, my friends. We are getting to aliens. Let me get this on here, video file. There we go. Okay, let me.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I love that. Love the monkeys. I freaking love the monkeys. How do you not love the monkeys? Joe Rogan. This clip is courtesy of Joe Rogan clips. Joe Rogan clips. I'm going to jump in once in a while to make comments, as I must, to make sure that it is. I am transforming the piece. But this is Dan Farah. He is the guy that did Age of Disclosure. I don't know if you saw it. I saw it. I did a review on it. It's nothing. It's just people speculating. Look, if the government, I believe the government wants everyone to believe that there's aliens because that is the perfect cover for everything they do now, right? It's the perfect color. You only need one or two high level government people coming down and saying, "Oh, hey, look, yeah, no, it's real. We got the stuff. We got the propulsion. We got this and that. We got it. No, we got it. That's it. That's all you need." But there's no evidence. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Nada. let's see what Dan Ferris says in. And I got something else to say about Joe Rogan. I'll say it afterwards.
Hopefully, it all comes out and people can legally talk about it at some point. But
can you talk about it without?
I know there's been multiple contact events, like straight up, contact events. One of them is revealed in the film, actually, but there are more. There was this.
The thing that they reveal in the film, they start off with saying that one guy came onto a tarmac and a tic tac shaped thing landed or came close. Wait a second, one guy? It came to a military base. You only had one guy show up. One guy. You didn't have like a contingent of military people hanging out. Nobody. Like what the. But that's the problem with everything on Age of Disclosure. It is so weak. It is so weak. Like you're literally are you telling me that your basis of fact is because someone else said so? I mean, is that your basis of fact? It's pretty weak.
Several of the people in my film talk about an event that happened at Halleman Air Force Base where two non-human crafts approached the base, one landed, beings walked out and interacted with Air Force officials and CIA.
In the Age of Disclosure, they say one. They say one guy.
Officials. And a couple people go on the record talking about that in the film. But
there
have been other events, I've been told.
How are those beings described?
They were described as tall, slender, humanoid.
Dear God, I see that every night in my dreams. Tall, slender, and humanoid. That's all the details you could get. If you, guys, I'm telling you, if I saw an alien, I always got a pen nearby. This is technology from the 1930s, 40s, 50s that I like to keep by. If I saw an alien face to face, or if they're taller or they're shorter, whatever it is, I'd be saying a lot more than tall and slender. Well, they kind of had tall and slender. Did they have ears? I'm not even sure. Did they have a nose? Didn't notice. Did they have eyes? 2 eyes? 5 eyes? They were tall and slender. That's it. That's all. That's literally, I call bullshit right now. Because if that is the only description you got on a belly-to-belly meeting with aliens, that's how I describe volleyball players. I go to see an NBA game. How would you describe it? Well, it's a lot of tall, slender guys playing basketball is what I see. You mean aliens? No. I mean, you know what I mean, right?
And the
weak.
Another thing that I heard that gave me chills was that
was it the tall, slender aliens that gave you chills? What the frick? What the frick gave you chills about that? Were you listening to it in a cold room? I don't get it.
Someone involved with a recovery
from Mexico
interacted with a non-human being that was dying and heard thoughts in his head that said, "You humans don't know your full potential."
I'm convinced. What did we just hear? Some guy heard thoughts in his mind. Okay, guys, honestly, I hear thoughts in my mind all the time. I assume, don't, hear me out. I assume that they're mine, okay? I assume that they're mine. Oh my God. What? I don't even want to rewind that to listen to it.
And that was said to me by a very senior, older guy from the intelligence community. And I thought that was pretty incredible.
Incredible.
Also, just the extent to which the legacy program is real. It's not. This isn't like 50 guys, sitting in a quiet, dark room. You're talking about a massive program with thousands of people going to work every day and dealing with this. And to me, that is mind blowing. Yeah.
Oh, it's a bunch of hearsay. Just is this just someone who is saying something that someone said, who heard someone think from someone else? I mean, this guy is obviously got a low bar to have his mind blown. It's like, hey, yo, Dan Fair, hey, what's 6 times 4? It's 24. Boom, mind blown. Mind blown.
Yeah. The guy next to you at the pizza place, on a Saturday night might be working on this during the day.
Right.
The guy who, the other father at your kid's like, Little League game.
Yeah.
This is what he deals with, right? The fact that that is a thing, and we had a similar dynamic for the Manhattan Project. There were always people working on it, and they kept it secret, right? And their neighbors and friends didn't know. But this is that on steroids. So, after the Manhattan Project, which was had a budget in the billions, this situation arose, and it had to be even more secret than the Manhattan Project, because the Manhattan Project, we found out in hindsight, leaked, right? There were moles.
Right.
So we needed to make this even more secret and give it more money and more resources and more, counter intel.
So we are 2 minutes and 17 seconds in. This guy has said nothing. He has said nothing. He has literally given about as flimsy evidence as the existence of 3 pink elephants flying around the corner from me. I mean, nothing. He has said nothing except that he got the chills from someone who heard thoughts in his mind. I mean, okay, what? So are you telling me the thoughts I hear in my mind could be from an alien? Oh, okay. I think I got some chills. And
more threats.
Which is counter intel, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, threats if you reveal those secrets. But it's like the more this stuff gets discussed, the more I go back to what Lazar said. Because what Lazar is describing from the 1980s is exactly what these people are saying now. They've had these things. They've been trying to figure them out. They've been working on them. At least in the 1980s, they hadn't totally cracked it yet. But they did know how to operate them, and that they would do these tests. But everything was so compartmentalized. He said he wasn't allowed to talk to the metallurgist. There was different people that were assigned to it.
Yeah.
What they were assigned to do was to try to figure out how the propulsion system worked.
Yeah.
And then there was other people that were assigned to try to figure out how the metallurgy was formed. Because whatever it was seemed like it was 3D printed. It didn't have any seams.
Yeah.
And when he talks about it, it sounds exactly like what people are talking about today.
And it's always just people talking, right? So it's just one guy talking about things. It's just one guy saying this, one guy saying this. Well, how come there's not one? Like, show us pictures. People talk about, I worked on this, I've done this, I've been abducted by aliens. You've been abducted by an alien. You were in an alien space, and none of you people had the presence of mind to like steal a pen or like steal like a hair clip. Do they have hair? Do these aliens have hair? No, they're tall and slender. Well, what does that mean? Can you give at least, if I met an alien, or if I was working on some sort of a craft that was alien in nature, it's always generic info. It's nothing significant. Would I be surprised? I'm the same thing with Brian Cox, right? Brian Cox says, look, but if we saw an alien ship actually floating outside one day, would I be surprised? Well, probably, not to the point where, it's possible. But the people that make money off of the alien, I don't want to call it a scam, hoax, the alien hoax, is billions of dollars these people are making. It is in their interest to keep the whole alien thing going. And I'm surprised Joe Rogan sometimes buys into it. I mean,
which is really bananas.
Yeah.
Because this is late 1980s, and he's the first guy to crack through with this stuff.
Yeah. Everything is so in that secret program. Everything is so siloed out where you could have one team of defense contractors working on one thing. They're not even told it's from an alien spacecraft. They're just told, here's the thing. It might be Russia. It might be China. Tell us how it works.
Right.
They're just kept in a little bubble. And one of the issues now is that everything's become so overclassified and so siloed that it's actually hurting progress. And that's a lot of the scientists in my film are voicing that. And one of the other things I learned recently that isn't in the film, Jay Stratton, who ran the UAP task force, he told me that during that time, he had started a talk with one of the senior scientists at Lockheed, who was frustrated by how overclassified everything was. It even made it hard for the defense contractors to get the right manpower and brains on it, because not everyone can be cleared to do the work, right? There's all these like red tape hurdles to progress, right? And so they had made a plan to move one of the crafts that had been recovered that was in Lockheed's possession into the possession of the UAP task force. And then the task force was going to be able to put more brain power towards it.
So Lockheed Martin is in possession of an alien craft. So far, after 50 years of having all these alien crafts, we see no evidence of any sort of technology that is anywhere beyond, our basic understanding of physics. But again, if you have teams of people working with all this stuff, like there's not one picture, there's not kind of like one, nothing. It's almost a very similar belief system that is similar to religion, right? Has nothing to really to support it. It just becomes a belief system that is relegated basically upon, I want to believe it. It sounds exciting, and I'm going to. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Maybe I'll play this tomorrow again. Did a video of Alien. Fill the gap with Alien. Right. So we can't explain something. We used to fill the gap with God. Now we fill the gap with Alien. Our technology goes to there. We can't explain this little part, so we'll just fill the gap with aliens, kind of thing, right? And the Corridor Crew, we've done things with the Corridor Crew. They debunk this stuff in seconds.
And then the head of science and technology at the CIA shut it down in the middle of the transfer. They had actually secured a hangar on a military base and prepped it to be a classified hangar that would hold this craft, and they were stopped. So the issue of overclassification.
Did they know what happened after that?
Yeah, the CIA shut the whole transaction down, and the craft stayed in Lockheed's possession.
So it's in Lockheed's possession. So it's in a private contractor's possession. It's in a private contractor's possession. Lockheed Martin. I mean, the government can't keep a secret with shit. But Lockheed Martin is currently in possession of an alien spacecraft? Wow.
And then that particular leader within Lockheed died about 2 years later. So the effort kind of stopped. He had cancer. The overclassification is definitely a hurdle for this. And our competitors don't necessarily have that. Like there's no free will in China. She can just be like, hey, you're the smartest guy graduating your class. You're going to go work for the nation on this,
Right, period.
And here, the problem is no one knows it's real. One of the things I hope the film changes is it makes the scientific community know that this is a valid area of inquiry. This is real. It's a real situation. And there's a ton of problems for the next generation of engineers and scientists to solve, And so hopefully it inspires them and helps us make progress, because there's a lot of progress that could be made here.
Well, it certainly seems like it, but it's like one of the things that you guys propose in the film that I think maybe the only way forward is some sort of a mass amnesty to all these people that did lie to Congress and probably misappropriated funds and maybe stole them.
So he's already making the assumption that, we've already made the assumptions that aliens exist. Based on what evidence? If science actually worked this way, we wouldn't have the cell phone. We wouldn't have any of the technology. Science works in a very, very specific way, not in a hokey pokey way. I have heard nothing. If you guys watch The Age of Disclosure, I have. It says nothing. It's the same old. Had a friend who said he saw a friend.
A little bit here and there. Like if that doesn't happen, no one is going to push to make this public. No one's going to push for actual full disclosure, because it leaves them too exposed.
20 foot away.
And if they do have the kind of power that they must have to be running an organization of thousands of people working on something with unbelievable amounts of money being transferred to these programs, they don't want to let that go.
Yeah.
This is it's a honeypot that they're drawing from, right? And they're probably still taking too much, or there's no oversight.
And now the conversation has devolved into they're not even there's no evidence. So at first they started talking about this flimsy, wishy-washy evidence. Someone who saw an alien. So how did they describe the alien? Tall and slender. Wait, you saw an alien belly to belly, and you can't even? Did it have hair? Did it have like ears? Did it have like 2 arms, 2 legs? Did it have 3 arms? Did it have like what really? Like such a when the description is so simplistic, I call bullshit right away. Bullshit. And now the rest of this time, Rogan and this other the director of Age of Disclosure have been talking about nothing. Nothing. There's no evidence. There's no actual evidence ever that's really thrown around that's actually, here's the evidence. I stole this pen from the spaceship. But there's never no evidence. The evidence is, so a guy said that he talked to a guy who knew a guy who worked in the base, who then talked to a guy who saw the aliens out his window. I mean, what?
Can
you imagine if Sir Isaac Newton used this kind of evidence to form his Newtonian laws? Could you imagine?
You're still lying to Congress, and you'd have to have some national security amnesty program saying, look, in the interest of national security, it's critically important that we get all of our best people working on this. The only way we're ever going to really do that is to completely reveal that this is actually really happening. This is real crafts from somewhere or something. We have them. We'll tell you.
Look, if you heard what he just said, I don't need to make a comment.
Where we have them. And I think right now, people wouldn't even freak out.
Dude.
Because I would think that people would freak out if there was some sort of official narrative of disclosure. But that's sort of been breached, right? The New York Times breached that in 2017.
I think this film is that. I mean, this is 34 credible people putting their reputation and name on the line.
I mean, look, guys, watch the film. It's not. It's nothing but more he said, she said. One person was there. You actually saw the alien. What did they look like? Oh, they're tall and thin. Well, wow, that's a lot of detail. Were you at a Lakers game? I don't understand. Where were you?
Which I honestly, Joe, I think it's stronger evidence than any video or photo. These days, you could put a 4K video of a giant craft over Vandenberg, and half the human population will say it's AI or creating some visual effects program. But someone of note, putting their name and reputation on the line, their career on the line, the rest of their lives on the line, to say this is what I know to be true. To me, that's the greatest evidence that exists. But I do think, to your point,
really, that's the greatest evidence. Really, not really a science guy, are you? Not really.
Amnesty is something that's gonna have to be figured out, because while it's hard for anyone to accept letting people off the hook for wrongdoings, right? It does seem like it's in the best interest of the bigger picture.
100%.
Because these people just aren't good. They have no incentive to come forward with what they've learned. And so, to quote Rubio in the film, he says, look, this is not a endeavor to go and punish anyone, but we need to know what they learned.
Right.
And I think he's totally dead on. And,
is he in favor of some sort of an amnesty program as well?
Yeah, he says on camera in the film, he's like, I'm not trying to punish anyone. I need to know what they learned, because taxpayers paid for this, and it's in our interest to know what's going on. But the other thing that's needed is real whistleblower protection, not the whistleblower protection that's been passed so far, like much stronger legal protection, so that people like the folks I talked to, the special forces guys I talked to, were going to come forward and then decided they thought to be.
And if you guys ever watch Age of Disclosure, it might be down to like $3.99 on Amazon now. It probably won't go free anytime soon. But if you're in the least bit interested, watch it. Watch it. And if you think that's evidence, if you think that is evidence, I mean, you have a pretty low bar for what you describe as actually being evidence.
Forfeiting their lives.
Evidence.
You've got to change that set of circumstances. You got to make those people feel like that's not going to happen to them.
Right.
And what I think ultimately is going to have to happen, and I wouldn't be surprised, man, if it happens soon after the film comes.
It's not aliens, it's morons. Well, I mean, I'm not, Tommy, I wouldn't argue. I just,
Comes out. I think a sitting president has to step to the microphone and say, definitively, humanity's not alone in the universe. We have recovered technology of non-human origin. So have other nations. There is a high-stakes secret Cold War race to reverse engineer this technology.
They've been saying that since Roswell. So if you take a look at a graph, after this video, I'm going to play the 10-minute video with Neil deGrasse Tyson, who basically just talks about fill the God gap, or God fills the gap, or aliens fills the gap. I'm going to play it after this, right after this. It's a 10-minute video. It's a great video. It's kind of Neil deGrasse Tyson at his best. If you take a look at a graph where all of UFO sightings started, it was at Roswell, right? It was at Roswell. It all started at Roswell. And what happened during the 90s that made everything explode? I mean, explode. So you look at the graph, you'll see this and all of a sudden you see in the 90s, it just takes off. What happened in the 90s? If you said the internet, you were correct. All of a sudden, everyone is sharing. Photoshop went huge. I've been working with Photoshop, and back then it was also Corel Draw. That was a long time ago. You're talking 35 years, 40 years of graphic software, right? And all of a sudden, things are being shared in the internet. Things are being shared. So this whole idea of UFO sightings and everything exploded. Before Roswell, virtually zero. Virtually zero. But when you plant the bug, and you get the whole choo-choo train going, and then you get the internet involved, and then you get movies like The Matrix and Independence Day and X-Files and yada, 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 on and on and on and on. There's more people making money about the alien hoax, a lot more people making money than there are about people that discredit the alien hoax. It's a $1 billion industry, and when people are making money from what they're talking about, you got to question it even more.
We need to win this race, and the U.S. intends to lead in this new chapter. I think that needs to happen, like a level set of basic facts, and I really do think it will happen.
Well, if that is going to happen, I think Trump might be the only guy that's willing to do something crazy.
I think it's very likely that he does that. I know that he is aware of the film. I know he's aware of what people in his administration.
And again, for those of you who are here, don't know, his name is Dan Farah. He's the guy, writer and director from Age of Disclosure, which that's the movie from about aliens. It's not about aliens. It's just people talking about people who saw or talked about aliens or saw them or something like that. He's the writer director of that movie. I've seen it. There's no evidence that even makes me budge an inch to think that there's any credibility to the argument.
Has he watched it? You know that?
He has not watched the film, but I know he's very aware of it, and I know that they are discussing internally how they're going to react to the film publicly. And I also know that he has very recently tasked Tulsi Gabbard with getting to the bottom of the situation and finding out for him what he needs to know that he doesn't know.
Really?
Yeah. And as Rubio said in the film, Rubio says on camera, on the record, on the film, that this has been kept from sitting presidents. And he goes into detail on how that's been done.
Not really. No, not really. I mean, Rubio does say a few things, but just like any politician, there's one there. I mean, he is paid very heavily from a U.S. senator has been paid very handsomely from a third-party country. I'm not sure Rubio is a person that the science community considers to be a valid interpreter of the facts. He is a politician. Politicians do one thing. What do? They lie.
And how it's the career bureaucrats
and they're not being honest this time just because you want them to
control
be
this information and just wait presidents out and don't feel like they have a need to know.
Right. Well, there were some people that tried to find information out in the beginning of the Trump administration. Who was it? There was someone that talked about it on record and said he was told at every turn that you don't have the clearance.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Trump actually found out about the base facts in his last presidency and was contemplating stepping to the microphone then.
What base facts?
So Jay Stratton, who ran the task force, he says on camera in my film that he briefed that Mnuchin, the Secretary of Treasury, asked for a briefing on the lay of the land because Trump asked him to get the briefing, and Trump had already known that the base facts that we're not alone in the universe, that
we're not. Okay, no one said we're alone in the universe. Stop. It's one thing. This is one thing that you'll notice. They always talk about the universe. Who gives a damn about the universe? If there is only one intelligent life form in the Milky Way galaxy, which is us, which is 400 billion planets, if we're the only ones, then there's 2 trillion species of intelligent life because there's 2 trillion galaxies. The universe don't mean shit. I don't think they have Stargate technology. I don't think they're opening wormholes like it's a Sunday afternoon and coming to visiting us. But that's the one thing in the movie. They never use the word galaxy. It's always universe, 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 universe. There's not many people that wouldn't disagree. Is there intelligent life in the universe of 2 trillion galaxies? I would say yes, there is. The question becomes, are they it's our galaxy, 400 billion stars, 400 billion stars. I got a high-res image of Andromeda that's also part of a segment that I wanted to do today that will blow your freaking mind. What 1 trillion stars look like, and that's how big the Andromeda galaxy is. I don't think they know the difference between what the universe is and what a galaxy is. But if you ever watch Age of Disclosure, listen to it. They never use like it's an orchestrated thing. They never use the term galaxy. They always say universe. It's kind of interesting.
There's been recovery of crash craft, right? He knew those base facts, and he told Mnuchin that he was thinking about going public. And so Mnuchin reached out to Stratton to get a briefing, and he told Stratton that the reason he wanted the briefing is because he needed to be able to evaluate what the impact would be to the economy if the president decided to step to the mic and tell the world we're not alone. And Stratton tells the story on camera in the film, and I've heard a lot more about it off camera. So we know Trump contemplated doing this already.
So Trump is known for what, 6, 7, 8 years that aliens exist, apparently. And he's been pretty nonchalant about it, right? He probably saw the flimsy evidence, and they were probably in the Oval Office. And what ensued was like a 5-minute laugh session that they couldn't stop laughing so hard. And then some high-level general walked in. It's like, sir, we need the cover to do our continued testing for our, secret stuff that we're developing. If the public thinks it's aliens, it's for the best. All right. That's good. All right. That's good. Is that a blue? Is that?
Now I think the release of this film and Rubio's involvement puts enough on the table that it makes it easier.
We're relying on Rubio as to whether aliens exist or not.
I think they would have to have some sort of a plan in place if they were going to say that, right? Like the amnesty plan, the idea behind it would have to be in place.
Or at least grab control of the situation and say that this is real and the U.S. intends to lead the way. Because the other factor that the White House has to keep in mind is you don't want Xi or Putin being the guy to do that.
Right.
You don't want them to have that moment, right?
Right.
Something I always think about with regards to that moment of a president stepping to the mic, when we entered.
Have you seen any alien technology that's being used in Ukraine? You think I've seen nothing. I mean, what? Yeah, the Russians, which was supposed to be this absolutely dominant army 3 years ago, is getting manhandled by the Ukrainians. Yes, they're getting military help, but theoretically, Russia should have had that. Where's their alien tech that they're sending in? They're using what, 1970s, 1960s T-90 tanks now? Is that the alien tech they're using? Are they gonna like buy some old Sherman tanks off of the United States? Oh, that's the alien tech. It's the Sherman tanks that are alien. Really?
The space race. Kennedy gave that big famous speech, right? He was like, we're going to lead in space.
Yep.
Technology, space technology, like nuclear technology, has no conscience of its own. It's up to man to use it for good or bad, and we're going to make sure it's used for the betterment of all mankind, and we're going to lead the way. That was his whole rallying speech, right? And it made the whole scientific community be like, we're going to help the U.S. win, rah, 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 right? I think that's needed in this race. We need all the support of the scientific community, of academia, the kids coming out of MIT, we need them putting their brain power towards this. And I think the White House knows that. And it's also the greatest, that's the greatest TV moment a leader could have in the history of humanity. Step into the microphone.
Do you think Elon knows?
Look, I've seen him obviously talk to you about it. I think he knows a lot.
Yeah, me.
Again, this is Dan Farah. He's the guy that wrote and directed Age of Disclosure. So now, like, you think Elon Musk knows that aliens exist? Elon's much more of a science guy. He says, like, there's, let's listen to them
too.
I don't think you get the contracts and the clearances you need to operate in space without some horse trading.
Yeah, when I went to SpaceX, I'm like, motherfucker, you know everything. There's no way you're launching these fucking things.
He knows how to launch a rocket into space. What does that have to do with freaking aliens? I've never heard Elon say, "Oh yeah, we have some." If anyone's gonna have a crashed alien spaceship, it's Musk. Why? Because he can freaking afford it.
Into space without them keying you in on exactly what's going on. He's just sly about it.
Well,
he goes, well, if they are aliens, they're certainly all subtle. That's what he says. Like, well, are they really? I don't know, man.
I think it's impossible to operate in space like he does and not be aware of everything, and also at the level he operates clearance wise. I held a secret screening at the National Space Symposium earlier this year, which is the Super Bowl of the space industry. It's like 60 people, heavy hitters from the space industry. We didn't promote it or publicize it at all, but there were a dozen guys from SpaceX there, and they all seem very aware of everything revealed in the film.
Yeah, I'm positive.
Yeah,
he's my friend, and he won't tell me.
He's a legend.
He keeps a lid on it.
He's a legend.
But how would he not know if it is? And some people have told me he knows that know he knows some things. So whatever. But the point is, people are good at keeping secrets. That's real.
100%.
But even people that aren't notoriously good at keeping secrets are good at keeping secrets when they have to be.
Do you think if you put yourself, you've interviewed Trump, do you see him doing that? Stepping to the mic and telling us the truth?
Someone talks to him about it and convinces him it's a great idea. Like if I had an hour with him.
I mean, it's literally the single, in my opinion, the single greatest moment a leader could have.
Well,
in the history of the world.
If he could be the guy that blows the lid off of it, that would definitely help with his legacy too.
If Trump knows the answer, he knows it's all. He's known this stuff for a few years, but yet I think the idea that aliens are actually visiting us with a complete lack of any and all evidence. Do you think alien craft just crash? Like they fly light years. They literally fly light years to get to Earth. They have technology. They have antimatter, matter converter. They do warp drives. They do wormholes. They have technology that is 1,000 centuries ahead of us. But they hit our atmosphere. They get into our atmosphere and they start freaking crashing. Are you kidding me with their technology? And if they have, now remember this, guys, they are using energy that is so much more than we have. So their ships, if they crash and they have antimatter matter converters where you're telling me it doesn't explode? And these spaceships only crash on military bases. They don't crash in the middle of cities. They don't crash in the middle of like someone's farm. They always crash conveniently near government land. Fucking that's convenient. And but they're such bad drivers. They come here from thousands of light years away. They do these warp bubbles. They do hyperdrives. They do gravity, like Event Horizon. They do gravity drives. Their technology is freaking insane. Insane. They can fly through our atmosphere at 50,000 miles per hour, change direction in a dime, go into water at the same speed. Nothing stops these ships, but they're crashing at a rate that is like literally. I won't make the jokes about, the driving jokes, right? I can make a few. I'm not going to do it. But they hit our atmosphere and they need driver's licenses because they can't fucking drive. And when their ships crash, they don't explode. There's no matter explosions. There's no gravity drives that, create a black hole in the middle of an explode. Like these, why would you come into our atmosphere? And this is one of the stupidest things. I swear to God. I guess I don't believe in God, so you can't really. But I swear to something. They use the idea that they just why so these aliens could come and they could do reconnaissance so easily, right? They've got weapons that are way beyond. The Marines leave no one behind. Why do the aliens leave someone behind? And you know what? You know what these people say? You know what this Dan Farah guy says? It's a gift. These are gifts. I swear to God. Watch the movie. These alien non-deniers, they're gifts. Their spacecraft crashes in our atmosphere. Instead of going to the DMV and getting driver's licenses, it's a gift. Keep the craft. Keep the dead bodies. Keep them. It's a gift. That's what they say. Watch Age of Disclosure and tell me if I'm wrong. It is. They don't explode on impact? These alien ships, they don't explode?
Which I think would be a good way to convince him.
Oh, was that it? That is it, right?
100%.
Even people that aren't.
Yeah, that was it. Okay. So now, okay. So we heard that. So now let's go to, so Neil deGrasse Tyson. This is an interesting thing from Neil. If you're a Neil deGrasse Tyson fan, you're going to really enjoy. I did play this yesterday or the day before, but basically he discusses the gap of aliens using technology or where is it here? Show files. Okay, it was the night before. 23rd. Oh, no. Christmas Carol. Oh, was it? Wow, it was back the 22nd. Where was it? There it is. There was Neil. Okay. Look, I like Neil. I don't know if you guys are Neil deGrasse Tyson fans. I like the way he's explained things. To me, the GOAT is still very much Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan is the GOAT. To Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan. Yeah. But look, if someone believes in aliens, fine. It's kind of like the belief in religion. You can go for it. I'm not. And really, here at Dimension Zero, it's a big part. If we are going to do a lot more alien discussions. It's not enough to come equipped with a whole bunch of just and attacking someone. You can't come and just attack someone and make that a source of your credibility based on what your opinion is. Don't attack somebody. Come with substance. Because if all you do is attack someone for their opinion based on the evidence they provide against your argument, you have nothing. It shows your weakness in how you're trying to argue back. You can't attack the message. But anyway, this is Neil. I think this is Neil deGrasse Tyson as best.
Aliens paying us a visit from another star system? What's up with that?
And that's cool. If you believe that, that's cool.
Years. Consider
you have to show the evidence.
People try to understand the world around them. And in so doing, every time they got to a point that they didn't understand, in came the power of a god. Let's go back to ancient Greece. Storms rose up in the seas. Where did that come from? How? Why? Did they have meteorology? No. Did they understand barometric pressure? No. Did they know anything about the atmosphere? No. But they knew the will of Poseidon. Poseidon would be enraged by the behavior of people on the shores, and that would account for what they saw.
And Poseidon was the brother of Zeus. They knew gods. Gods filled the gap.
This assigning the glory and the wrath of a deity to things we don't understand is coined by philosophers as the god of the gaps. it's actually got quite a noble history when you think of it. One of the greatest works of science ever is Principia Mathematica. In there, Newton unleashes the 3 laws of motion, the laws of gravity. He figures out how the solar system works. He's figuring out, how do these planets sustain their orbits? Are they pulling on each other, and in what way and how? He figures all this out. But wait a minute, every time Earth goes around the backside between the sun and Jupiter, Jupiter's going to tug on it a little bit. Comes back around again, Jupiter tugs on it again. Jupiter has a strong gravity. What's going to ultimately happen to Earth's orbit? In this scenario, Earth's orbit will become more and more elongated. The gravitational tug of war between the sun and Jupiter will yank Earth out of its orbit, destabilizing the solar system. Not only Earth, the other planets as well. He said, oh my gosh, this will take time, but clearly the solar system is stable. So he writes, can't understand why it's stable, because I know my equations work. So God must step in every now and then to fix things. Now you gotta be badass to invoke God at the limits of your knowledge when you explain so much with the equations you wrote.
Especially Sir Isaac Newton, right? Like, it just goes to show you, even the best of us. Now, we just watched the whole idea of aliens, and this brings us to the whole idea. And you, sir, I saw that you're talking about some UFO encounter that you had. I would ask if you send that to me, if you got video, you're saying you recorded the phenomenon, I would love to see it. I mean, would you send it to me? Look, we've done episodes with the Corridor crew who debunk virtually every single alien encounter. They're so good at it. But here, Neil deGrasse Tyson, after listening to Dan Farah and Joe Rogan, who basically said nothing, they offer no evidence, but yada 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 does not really stand up to peer review in the scientific community. Even Sir Isaac Newton was forced to, I think, given his time, right, where he existed, a man of his brilliance, had to resort to the God of gaps.
That, by Newton, was a God of the gaps invocation. He brought in God when there was something about the natural world he could not explain and did not know. Notice Newton did not invoke God to explain the force of attraction between Earth and the moon. He nailed that. He wrote down that equation. That was working. He didn't invoke God when he talked about his 3 laws of motion. Force equals mass times acceleration. That works. We still use it today. He only invoked God at the limits of his knowledge.
Exactly.
So let's fast forward to the second half of the 20th century on into the 21st century. What happens? Well, we have Hollywood. Nothing better than a good sci-fi movie with aliens in it.
And this is so important. Now, this is the part where it gets important when we start talking about the whole alien stuff, what Dan Farah and Joe Rogan were just basically all talking about hearsay. This is when it becomes important.
And aliens, they're aliens, so they got better technology than us, better spaceships. They do stuff we can't do. It appears to me that we live in a time where God of the gaps has been supplanted by alien of the gaps. I've had people come up to me and say, where did the pyramids come from? And I'm saying, well, I'm thinking the ancient Egyptians built it. How could they have possibly built that? That's too complicated. They must have gotten help from aliens, alien of the gaps. So this urge is strong. And I get it, and I feel it, and I want it to be true as well. I don't want to use it as a substitute for continuing to ask questions about what you're looking at. I don't want to use it as a substitute for the simple statement, I don't know what it is. That's powerful. If you don't know how to say, I don't know, that means you're going to walk through life requiring answers to everything. And you know something? Some of those answers, many of those answers will just be shown to be wrong because you are invoking an answer when there isn't evidence to support it.
And that is that, whether it's the God of the gaps or the alien of the gaps, right? Back in 2,000 years ago, even less than that, right? Before science really became a fixture on the intellectual framework of society, we can't explain the thunder, the lightning, everything like that. It's God. And because it causes destruction, he's angry. Fucking God is angry. Well, who pissed him off? Who pissed off God? Someone must have pissed him off.
We see things in the sky we can't explain. There's a light in the sky and it moves rapidly. I don't know what it is. Investigate it. Let's get more data. I'm all in. But the moment you say, I don't know what I'm looking at, therefore I know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at aliens. That is a leap. Oh my gosh. That's a leap. And it's a leap I'm not prepared to take. What's gotten a lot of attention of late, deservedly, is we've had now 3 visitors from interstellar space. Love it. We've been looking for these puppies for decades, by the way. Everything.
Avi Loeb, baby. Avi Loeb. Although Avi Loeb, I think he's throwing in the white towel, right? The last interview I played, we did it on, was it Saturday night? About him, or Friday night? Well, about him, he threw it in the towel. Oh, I think it's a comet. Okay, I think it's a comet. But he's holding out till March 16 when it hits Jupiter. This whole hill gravity thing with March 16th. He's holding out till March 16th. But Avi Loeb is Avi Loeb. That's what he is.
In the solar system, the planets, the moons, the comets, the asteroids, all of it. If you calculate how much energy it has, it is contained within the solar system. None of these objects have enough energy to escape the gravitational pull of the sun. The sun owns them. That's our family. It's the solar system. So we learn about the planets, we go there, we land on them, we land on the moons, we land on the asteroid, we landed on comets, we get data, so we get a sense of what these objects are. That goes into our catalogs, we form our hypotheses, we have some theories that get tested. That's how science works. Now we have a visitor from another star system. Again, we've been looking for these for decades. We expected it to show up at some point. Here's the solar system in orbit around the center of the galaxy, drifting through space. Something's bound to visit us that escaped another star system. By the way, models for the formation of our solar system suggest that we might have been born with many more planets than 8.
Now that is a matter of fact, right? In planetary science, trying to come up with the, and we can never know for sure how many planets we could have had, but they just found a rogue planet, right? They literally just found a rogue planet, and they actually zoomed in on it with, I think it was the James Webb Telescope. And it is a planet about 5 times bigger than Jupiter. It's a rogue planet floating out in the middle of, nowhere. But this happens. This happens quite often. I would love to know if there's anyone else in the chat or anyone else has had like an alien encounter. I mean, just put your 2 bits in. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to say anything about it. User X Plays host has been making mention of something. If anyone else has something, I'd like to know. We're going to do a lot more shows like this on Dimension Zero. A lot more. I am a skeptic. Like I'm in Neil deGrasse Tyson's camp. But if you have had, I am more than interested to hear. And if you have some evidence and you want to email it to the channel, we're very discreet with it. We are not going to show it to anybody else. Nobody else. If you have that evidence and you want us to discuss it, but let us know. Let us know in chat.
Upwards of a dozen, 15, 20, possibly as many as 30 planets started in this solar system, many of which had unstable orbits, crashed into Jupiter, crashed in the sun, or got ejected. You get ejected with higher speed that could be contained by the sun. They're out there somewhere. We think that happens in every star system that formed. So some of that junk at some point is likely to pass through our star system, the solar system. Okay. So 3 objects have been found in the last decade, okay? 3 of them. And they've had some anomalous features. Fun. I love it. The first of these, Oumuamua, discovered with telescopes in Hawaii. That's a Hawaiian word for first scout, basically. So that, as it came through the solar system, we said, all right, we know what trajectory an object with that speed and that direction coming in should take as it rounds the sun. Then there was the actual trajectory, which was different. Like, whoa. Well, comets have a way of outgassing when they get near the sun, And that puts an extra little sort of force on their arc of motion that has them move in ways that are not purely gravitational. And that's true for all comets. So we thought maybe it's outgassing. But suppose you look and there's no outgassing. So what's going on? Well, that's fun. We don't understand it. Not initially. So what's your first thought? Is it aliens?
That's right. That is literally what happened. Now, the real name of Oumuamua is One-Eye Oumuamua, right? One-Eye Oumuamua, just like Three-Eye Atlas. But whenever the gaps can't be filled, and that's the whole idea, right? God of the gaps and alien of the gaps. When the gap can't be filled, it's like what Neil is arguing is it becomes the alien of the gap. When we require a quick fix, although the majority of stuff is answered by basic cometary science, not, cometary science, there's only one person, guys, there's only one person who got a Netflix deal. Who got the Netflix deal with Three-Eye Atlas? Who got the Netflix deal? Who got the Netflix deal? Can you answer that for me? If you guessed Avi Loeb, you are 100% correct. Avi Loeb got the Netflix deal. Yes. And the numbers are not being disclosed. Avi, congratulations on your Netflix deal. Neil didn't get one. Brian Cox didn't get. I didn't get one.
I could be. Like I said, it's not my first thought. I promise you, it will be my last thought. But it's not in the list. It's in the list. It's just way down based on the history of trying to understand things that we don't understand. We have two more objects that have come through, and they have some weird properties. The brightness, the rotation rate, and so they don't match some of our models for what comets and asteroids should do. Whatever anomalous behavior these objects exhibit, I'm delighted that they're finally in the catalog, and we'll figure it out one day, maybe. And while my first thought is not that it's aliens, I promise you that is one of my thoughts, but it'll be last on the list. It's easier for me to recognize that interstellar objects are fundamentally different from anything we've studied in the solar system before. So we have to derive a new understanding of what an object can be as it moves from one star system to the next. It's easier for me to think this is a new kind of object that requires way more study than we've given it thus far, than to say aliens did it.
I mean, that's exactly what I think. Who was it that said Bruce says Neil is a fraud? I mean, you just can't say like, look, I am the most critical. When I hear someone speak, I am the first person who is going to discredit them or credit them. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a scientist. He speaks very articulately. I don't know why you would say, you'd have to expand on that, Bruce. So you say Neil is a fraud. Give me some specific. You have to provide some specific ideas. I mean, basically, if you go out and then just say that without the evidence or the proof to prove he is a fraud, I mean, fraud is a pretty strong word. I mean, that's also defamation. So if you had to go into a court of law and you had the evidence to prove Neil deGrasse Tyson was a fraud, I'd like to know how you kind of come up with that that understanding. I ask you that because you are making the statement that Neil deGrasse Tyson is a fraud. So based on that, please provide the evidence. You can, if you disagree with someone, attacking the messenger is not attacking the message. I mean, that is the way weak arguments go. I don't like what they said, so I will attack him. He's stupid. What does that have? Well, attack the message. If you cannot attack the message, if you cannot have a feasible argument to what he is putting out. Attacking the messenger holds no water. No water whatsoever. It's valueless. And you see that all the time in politics. They don't discuss what the person said. They just attack the messenger. Attack the messenger, discredit the messenger, and the message has no value. So we need to discuss the message, not the messenger. If you don't like Neil, that's fine. You have to discuss and argue the value of the words, right? That's the important thing. So Bruce, look, you're always welcome to state your opinion, always. But just attacking somebody without credibility to, or making any reference to the words that he's spoken is a little disingenuous, right? It's a little disingenuous.
Aliens. Based on my read of history, and I do a lot of reading of history, I have a certain resistance to swapping out God of the gaps and replacing it with alien of the gaps. That's just me. Regardless, in science, you always want more data.
Always.
You need more data. You want better data.
I love it.
You want different kinds of data, different kinds of telescopes, different kinds of observations, different people observing it.
I love it.
A person might have a bias,
yes,
an influence, how they interpret what they see.
Hallelujah.
They even measured what they see.
Is this a sermon?
The thing about science is we have built-in error-checking mechanisms. One of them is peer review. That's one of them.
Peer review. It's exactly why scientists, and you put a theory out there, you do a little bit of math, you come up with this idea, you put it out there for who? The entire scientific community to tear it apart. No, religion doesn't do that. The Pope decides. The Catholic Church is a dictatorship. It's a dictatorship. Some old guy at the Vatican will tell you what you will believe. If he decides, that belief will change the next day. But in science, it's called peer review. Thousands of scientists will review what you just put out there, and they will tear you apart, or they will say, oh shit, this guy's got some, yeah. That's why science works. That's why we have cell phones. That's why we have cars. That's why we have jets. That's why we have spaceships. That's why we have internet, lights, cameras, action. Science is the only superpower we have. Science.
Looks over your shoulder and say, what are you doing? That's one kind of peer review. Street peer review. What the hell are you doing? No, it's more formal than that, obviously. But you get someone else to sort of check up on you. They're really checking for your biases. Because as science, we know we are humans just like anybody else, and we carry biases. So you don't want your bias creeping into either your acquisition of data,
yes,
your analysis of the data, critical, or your interpretation of the data.
Bias.
Because some other scientists will call that out.
And to let people that are here, they missed the earlier show. What we did, we had a 15-minute clip on Dan Farah, who was the guy from, who did the writer-director from Age of Disclosure, on the Joe Rogan show, talking about aliens. And this is basically Neil deGrasse Tyson showing how people, human beings, we fill in the holes. We used to use God of the gaps, God to fill in the gaps, and now we're using alien of the gaps. Alien of the gaps to fill in once our understanding, even from the normie, right? From the layman perspective, from the vernacular. We see something, we only can explain it to here, and then the rest is we fill in the gaps with aliens. What we used to do, fill it in with God. And this is what Neil deGrasse Tyson is basically saying. I have seen Age of Disclosure. It is nothing new. There's no evidence. It's just yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. I do not discredit those people who have had an experience. Look, that's your experience. It's not my evidence. That's your evidence to believe what you want. But it's not evidence for me. You have to come to the table with a little bit more. But this is why we're watching now Neil deGrasse Tyson. God of the gaps and then alien of the gaps. How we use aliens to fill in the gaps for things that we don't understand.
You want it to be sort of as straight as you can. And once you did all your homework, sure, you can speculate, go ahead. But the speculation should trigger more observations. Good speculations will do that. You wanted to know what's up with that? Aliens coming to visit Earth? Maybe, but based on my read of history, unlikely. And that's another edition of Star Talks. What's up with that? Till next time, keep looking up.
So I am a Neil deGrasse Tyson fan. I like him because he is just like Carl Sagan. He is articulate. He is very constructive in his thoughts. So I majored in English and philosophy with a pretty strong background in history. And I'm a screenwriter. I won many awards in screenwriting, and I am a hobbyist astrophysicist, I guess you would call it, right? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And so when you hear the evidence from everything that we see from aliens, it's just not enough. And user, you're talking about, your own personal experiences there in the chat. Look, I'm not going to discredit it. I'm not going to, come out and bombastically and try and change your opinion of what you saw or whatever you experienced. But your experience is not going to have any direct impact on unless you come back with proof. I stole this ashtray. It's like on Age of Disclosure. Right in the beginning of that interview, they were talking about military people that went belly to belly to see aliens. And then Joe Rogan says, "Oh, what did he see? What did they look like? Oh, tall and slender." Oh, really? Okay, wait. That's all the fucking info. You literally were belly to belly with an alien. Were they wearing clothes? What was their fashion style? Why are aliens always naked? Why are aliens always naked? They have no fashion style because our minds cannot process alien fashion. I don't think aliens come here naked. They have the same legs, the same arms. They don't have any genitals down there. They're tall and slender. Did they have hair? Was there 5 ears, 4 eyes, 2 mouths, 1 nose, 2 noses? You had no detail. You literally saw the frickin' alien face to face. And the only thing that you could come up with was tall and slender. You've just described the LA Lakers. Thank you very much. Like, that is exactly what you just described. So you went partying with the LA Lakers is what I'm thinking. If I saw aliens, guys, I'm telling you, all of you right now, and I'm sure you would be no different. You would be no different if you got picked up by an alien ship and you were belly to belly with them. And maybe they're taller, maybe they're shorter, who knows? And you saw them and asked you, describe them. Well, they're tall and slender. What? You got anything more? Did you look at them in the eye? Oh yeah, no, I was right there in front of them. Okay, what did they look? Did they look like George Clooney? What was it? Obama? What was it? Did they look like Trump? Who? Like, you can't give. There's no other details you could give. I almost want to play that first 3 minutes of that interview just to let, like, oh my God, guys, if you're gonna come to the table and trying to argue that aliens, not that they exist, because I believe intelligent life exists. There's 2 trillion galaxies. There's 400 billion stars in the Milky Way alone. There's 1 trillion galaxies in Andromeda. And as a matter of fact, I want to show you this. You want to see Andromeda? Anyway, I wanted to thank you, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think that was really good, Neil. I want to show you. So I got this thing. I'm going to play it. I'm going to do a Friday show tomorrow. I am going to do a Friday show because it's a holiday. So I'm doing a Friday show tomorrow. I'm doing a show tomorrow. But here is the Andromeda Galaxy that should blow your freaking mind. If you haven't seen this absolute stunning high-res video of the Andromeda Galaxy. That's not what that. Sorry, that's November. Yes, I want December. Thank you. Oh, there we go. So, okay. So, load it up. I'm going to remove Neil. Thank you, Neil, from that great presentation. Okay, so I constructed this. I actually went through through NASA and ESA and a whole bunch of. We're not going to play it all tonight. But this is basically shows you how absolutely amazing, crazy. So this first bit is the Andromeda Galaxy. It zooms in. It is a massive, massive picture. So many pixels. I think it's 14 million pixels or something. But look at how detailed. Look at the stars. Look at how many stars there are in the Andromeda Galaxy. I'm going to put a full screen so there's a real appreciation. Full screen. And there's a little bit of info there. Contains roughly 1 trillion stars, over double the amount of the Milky Way. Milky Way is like up to 400 billion. It's the farthest object visible from Earth with the naked eye. Look at this. Let me move the comments here. This is stunning. Each speck is a star. Each speck. Between each star is anywhere from 3 to 5 light years between each little speck that you see. Every little dot, 3 to 5 to 6 light years. A light year is 6 trillion miles. 6 trillion miles is 1 light year. This is the Andromeda Galaxy. Look at the stars. This is a small area. This is unbelievable. Every star, light years, every dot, every single little dot you see there, light years separate these little dots. It's like the closest star to us is Proxima Centauri, a triple star system, basically, right? It's 4.3 light years away. The closest star to us is 4.3 light years away. Take it that each little dot on your screen is 4.3 light years. That would be about, what, 26 trillion miles. 26 trillion miles that separate each dot on your screen. This is, we can't, look at this, now we're getting closer to the center. We can't even fathom, can't even understand the amount of dots on our screen. How many planets revolve around each star? 7, average 7, 8? Is there intelligent life in the Andromeda Galaxy? I bet there is. Look at that. This is what makes me so enthused about our universe, about astronomy, cosmology, astrophysics, quantum science. Look at that. That's only a small part. That was a small fractional part of the Andromeda Galaxy. That's a small part. That is a quarter slice, or a quarter, a fifth. A fifth? Guys. If that, okay. If that doesn't impress you, I mean, honestly, you're not paying attention. This one is the Southern Ring Nebula. Now, again, this is a zoom in. This is the stuff that makes you go. Let me give you the full pleasure of this. And located about 2,000. This is about, call it 2,500 light years away, right? Our galaxy is 120,000 light years across. So this is in our neighborhood, in the constellation Vela. Look at the zoom in on this. Guys, look at the zoom. It features 2 stars at its center that interact to sculpt its distinct ring-like shape. But look at the zoom. If this doesn't impress you, I have nothing to impress you with. I don't. This is absolute NGC 3132, aka the Southern Ring Nebula. 2,500 light years away, guys. 2,500 light years away. And we can see it to that degree. Amazing. Now we're zoom back out to give a real perspective. This, to me, guys, this is why I fell in love with astronomy early on, like before 1980, before Cosmos and Carl Sagan. The universe is filled with things, and the size is, now you can imagine, that's only 2,500 light years away. Our galaxy is 120,000 light years across. It's a small galaxy compared to Andromeda. Andromeda is twice the size, at least. And it's coming. We're merging with it, Milkomeda. But look at that pullout. Look at the... This is... Yeah. Unbelievable. You don't even remember where do we zoom in at again? Where was the zoom in? Yeah, that's from look, space.com. I get my news from space.com. And so this is another Earendel star. This is another one. Another zoom in that is, I mean, there's no VFX here. This is only which I'm not sure which telescope this was. I think, is this the Europeans, or regardless, let's take a look at this. Look at this, guys. This is insane. This stuff is... visible only because a massive galaxy cluster magnified its light by thousands of times. Seen as it existed just 900 million years after the Big Bang, a massive hot star, or possibly a binary system discovered by the Hubble Space Telescope. Earendel. This is 13 billion light years away. These galaxies are billions and billions. So the light that we are seeing is from billions of years ago, near the birth of the universe. This is the fact that we can see this. Is nuts. It's just in a indescript little patch, in a little patch of space, that we can see that. Just in a little patch of space. Oh, there's more. There's more. So this is, let me get my fat face out of there. It features a bright inner cone. The Cartwheel Galaxy. Yeah, the Cartwheel Galaxy. It was a head-on collision with a smaller galaxy, about, hard to say, call it 300 million years ago. Features a bright inner core with a massive, colorful outer ring spanning 150,000 light years across. Visible spokes of the gas and dust connect the rings, marking regions where spiral arms are forming. But look at the zoom in. This is a little tiny infinitesimal black patch in the initial photo. We are zooming into shit that is mind-blowing. And I got more video, I'll tell you, after this. If you're not impressed yet, I got lots more coming your way. I do. A little bit of... Guys, that is freaking insane. The things that we can see now, and our technology is only getting better. Now we zoom back out. Remember how close we got. And keep everything in perspective. How the little patch of sky that they took this picture with and were able to zoom in. Un-effing believable. This is science. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Science is the only superpower. Science is the Marvel Cinematic Universe of reality. It's the only superpower. I mean, that is That is, I mean, there's more. There is, yeah, there's, which one are we here? Which one is this one? We're zooming in. Oh, yeah, it's a zoom out. Oh, that was, okay, you know what? We actually saw this one. This was the Erindil. This was from 13.4 billion years ago. It's giving perspective of the little squares, and these squares are giving you a perspective of how far away this is. When you look into the night sky, virtually every star light that you see is a star, right? It's not a galaxy. When you get out of our galaxy, the distances then become crazy. Like, right, the Andromeda Galaxy is 2.5 million light years away. Now, the other galaxies are, we're in a little small galaxy cluster, and now we're zooming in again. The technology, this is the perfect Christmas present. In 2003, astronomers selected one particular field for intense study. So this tiny little square, we're just going to zoom in. We're going to focus it. However long, like they focus it for a while. Hubble observed this relatively empty region for over 11 days of combined exposure. An empty field, a tiny little infinitesimal empty field of space. The ultra-deep field represents the deepest visible light image of the universe. We're going back 13.5 billion years. Oh, let me get rid of... The larger galaxies often have the familiar spirals and elliptical shapes. But these are galaxies going back, I mean, we're seeing, this is history, this is going back in time, right? Billions and billions. The old Carl Sagan, billions and billions. This is why astronomy has to impress you. Yes, it's not going to change your life tomorrow. Well, maybe it will. The awe-inspiring. Some tiny galaxies are mere distant dots of light. A two-dimensional image can show the sizes, shapes, and colors of galaxies. And of course, we learn almost everything about objects, celestial objects, from light, right? The light detailed analysis can also reveal the distances to these galaxies. I mean, the things that they do using mathematics and understanding light spectrum is amazing. Their distances stretch out into space for more than 10 billion light years. So that's the picture, right? That's the 2D picture. They're creating a three-dimensional picture of that 2D picture we just saw. That is how that 2D picture stretches out. It may look, this three-dimensional data set enables astronomers to examine galaxies across the cosmos. Now we're going back to 2D. But the depth of field was literally billions of light years. Now we're going back to a two-dimensional picture of that same three-dimensional field that we just saw this picture in. This is why you love astronomy. Galaxies are distributed across billions of light years of space. There's some, like, this is only a fraction. Hence, their light has traveled for billions of years to reach us. Billions. These are galaxies that existed only a few hundred million years after the birth of our universe, or the birth of our part of the universe. I believe the universe is infinite. I would probably be under the idea, looking farther out into space is also looking farther back in time. I'm a person who believes that Big Bangs happen regularly in an infinite universe. This galaxy is one of the most distant observed. This thing is so far away. Seen as it was more than 12 billion years ago, only the core of this galaxy is formed. And we can see it. We can see it. Billions and billions of light years. We have this is a 3D representation of that 2D image. Smaller galaxies are often merged together to build up larger galaxies. Even as in the Milky Way, right? There's small Magellan clouds that circle, 32 of them, there's quite a few, that circle our galaxy that we're slowly, our galaxy, the Milky Way, is absorbing. When galactic disks form in subtle spiral structures. But these things are, they're at least hundreds of thousands of light years apart. Some of these things are millions of light years apart. A fully formed spiral galaxy takes many billions of years to develop. So that galaxy is massive. Imagine that to be the Milky Way galaxy. It's 120,000 light years across. That little yellow dot now. Deep fields allow astronomers to study the development of galaxies over cosmic time. Those are all galaxies at various distances, spanning 10 billion light years. On a 2D image, science is the only superpower. The ultra deep field examines about 10,000 galaxies in a tiny little speck of space. Look at how small there are more than 10 million patches of this size across the entire sky. Look how small this patch of space is. Guys, this is why I fell in love with astronomy. This is why I fell in love with the universe, space, cosmology, astrophysics, quantum. Look at how small this thing gets. And we can see it. We take pictures of this stuff. It's gone. Like it's already a speck. If you've ever wanted to use a swear word, if you ever needed to use a swear word, holy fuck. Deep fields are the crucial. I missed it. You guys, everyone on that page just deserves an amazing. Damn. And that's wait. Is the next? Which is the next one here? The pillars of creation. We're zooming into the pillars of creation, guys. Gas and dust where new stars are actively forming. Located within the Messier 16 Nebula, roughly 6,500 light years away. This is 6,500 light years away. A fraction of the size of the Milky Way. The left pillar stretches 5 light years in length, or roughly 30 trillion miles, which is farther than the distance to Proxima Centauri, Alpha Centauri, which is the closest star. It is insanely huge. And we took this picture. Human beings took this picture. There's a 3D picture of the pillars of creation somewhere. I've got to find it. I'll put it on another live feed, live show. I'm going to show more of this tomorrow in tomorrow's show. But this is the kind of stuff that is mind-blowing. Stunning. The pillars of creation. I mean, thousands of stars are being formed. Thousands of stars. Thousands. There's one. This is the cosmic butterfly. The cosmic butterfly. This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. The wings are vast lobes of gas ejected from a dying star spanning over 3 light years across. This is over 3 light years across. Central star hidden by donut-shaped ring of dust that constrains gas flow, and in the center there is a white dwarf. Our star, Sol, our own sun, will become a white dwarf one day. But this is one of the warmest. On the surface of this white dwarf, it was 220,000 degrees Celsius. 200 on the surface of a white dwarf. I mean, white dwarfs will radiate heat for possibly trillions of years. Certainly hundreds of billions of years. And we don't know if there's a whole other set of life that will be created in that phase of our universe, right? There's multiple phases of our universe that we might be at the start of this. You know what? 5 billion years from now, life might spring up everywhere, and we're just too early. We might be early to the party. The Sombrero Galaxy. Guys, I love the Sombrero Galaxy. It creates like a sombrero hat. It houses a central supermassive black hole with roughly 1 billion times the sun's mass. It's much bigger than Sagittarius A star, which is 4 million solar masses. This is a big and gorgeous galaxy. The Sombrero Galaxy is a gorgeous galaxy. Gorgeous. I love it. Love this galaxy. I mean, look at that incredible disk of gas on the outside where stars are forming. It's like, what is it? 60,000 light years across. 60,000 light years across. And that distance is immeasurable. We can't even understand. 60,000 times 6 trillion miles. That's how many miles you get. It's a big freaking number. It's a big number. Up next we have the Andromeda. Oh, the Andromeda Galaxy. I think this is a different one from the first Andromeda Galaxy that we saw at the beginning of this series. So there it is in the sky. You can see the Andromeda Galaxy with the naked eye. We're going to merge with it in about 4 or 5 billion years. Our galaxy and the Andromeda moving towards us at roughly 110 kilometers per second. Oh, I didn't catch it all. I should have left the words up there longer. Now, this is a whole other deep, high pixel image of the Andromeda Galaxy. If this doesn't impress you, I have nothing. I am. Now, remember, every speck is one star, and between each speck is, call it an average of 4 light years. Between each speck is 4 light years. The Horsehead Nebula. Have you guys seen the Horsehead Nebula? A star-forming region located approximately 1,400 light years away in the Orion. Intensifying radiation from nearby stars will evaporate the cloud in about 5 million years. This actually exists. It's far away from us. It's very far away from us. But in this perspective of the universe, it's not that far away from us. It's not that far away, guys. This is, like I say, this is why I fell in love with astronomy as a very young kid. Awesome. This is kind of it. So this is from the Lunar Orbiter. If you've never seen, most craters on the moon range between, it's going to come up, right? Most craters on the moon range between 1 to 100 miles in diameter. Oh, I should have kept why didn't I keep the words up longer? Damn it, Danny. But this is our moon. This is our moon. For those people that don't think we landed on the moon, we do have pictures from the orbital satellite, pictures of the tracks and everything. Can someone send them to Kim Kardashian, please? Send those to Kim Kardashian. Look at that is the surface of the moon, guys, like we've never seen it. You're looking at billions of years. This thing is, we look up in the sky and we see this thing. This is the surface of the moon. And again, if this doesn't impress you, I have no idea. It almost makes you want to cry. I don't know. As a screenwriter, I see something like this as a English philosophy guy. Once the Earth was finally backed into the sight of the astronauts were able to reestablish radio contact with mission control. The moon is, it's fucking amazing. We look it up and we just say it's the moon. Oh no. It is. The free return trajectory around the moon was the beginning of the journey home to safety for Apollo 13. Right? That was Apollo 13. Awesome. That is awesome. What do we got? We have NASA. I mean, they do. Yeah. The center. Oh, this is going to our Sagittarius A star. Guys, this is going to the black hole in the center of our galaxy. It's roughly 4 million times that of our sun. The core is millions of times more crowded than our neighborhood of the Milky Way. Stars can be as close as 0.04 light years apart. Its visible light is dimmed by a factor of 1 trillion, requiring infrared or X-ray telescopes to see it. We are zooming in to Sagittarius A star. We will see Sagittarius A star. This is stunning. This is the center of our galaxy, guys. Sagittarius A star. You see this? These are the stars in the center. You see the stars circling around our black hole, our supermassive black hole. These are actual stars circulating around our supermassive black hole. There it is. There's Sagittarius A star and the orbit of S2. Closest approach, 20 billion kilometers from Sagittarius A star. That is the center of our Milky Way, our Sagittarius A star, if you've never seen it. And those are the stars. There are so many stars that are. It is an absolute hive. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, guys. There's no other. It's just beautiful. This is real life. This is the Orion Nebula. 1,350 light years away, appears as a in Orion's sword, visible to the naked eye, lit by the trapezium cluster, 4 massive stars that sculpt the surrounding gas. And we're zooming into it. This is different light spectrums to view. Now, this, guys, this is a 3D model of the nebula. We're going to go inside of it. We're literally going to fly inside of it. This is actual 100% what it would be like if we had a spaceship and we're flying through the Orion Nebula. I believe each star is around 1 to 2 light years apart, so there's a significant distance, right? It's a nursery. It's a star nursery. But this is literally what we would see if we could have a spacecraft that flew 5 light years a second. Look at the stars, guys. This actually exists out there in our universe. It literally exists out there. I watch this stuff. I've probably seen this video 100 times, 150 times. Every time I watch it, I am as amazed as the first time. It's not science fiction. It's science fact. That is the Orion Nebula going inside a 3D model. Now we come back out. We literally just went through, man. Hell yeah. I wish Carl Sagan could see some of the stuff that we see today. He would be... He would have a smile. Carl Sagan would have a smile on his face. He would have a smile on his face, that's for sure. Now we're going back to the original light spectrums. I mean, all the people whose name appears on this page, guys, well done. Well freaking done. This is a rogue planet, CHA 11077626. Billions of tons, 6 billion tons of material are... We're zooming in. This is crazy. A rogue planet means it has no star, but... its fastest acceleration rate ever seen in a planet mass object, a free-floating planet with 5 to 10 times the mass of Jupiter, not orbiting any star. So you would think that this thing might become at least a brown dwarf. Maybe there's enough material for this thing to become a rogue red dwarf. You know, is there enough material there? So we're zooming in on this thing. So I mean, that's pretty good. Now this is an artist impression. You see this thing's about, call it 10 times the size of Jupiter. It needs to get to about 20 or 30 times to be a brown dwarf, and 50 times, maybe even not that big. It depends. We're not really sure where this whole fusion thing's going to start, where it's going to ignite to a red dwarf. But that's basically what's going on there. This is the Sculptor Galaxy. It's experienced a rapid burst of new star formation. Nicknamed for its brilliant edge-on appearance and high surface brightness. It ejects massive amounts of hot gas and dust into space, driven by its intense stellar activity. I believe this is about 70,000 light years across. Smaller than our Milky Way galaxy by a little bit. Actual picture, we're zooming in. This is real. And this thing is so far away, but yet we can still zoom in on this thing and see the magnificence. This one is this is the star. This is a very young star and its planet. So we are literally watching a young planet form around its star. But look at how we're zooming in. Our technology when it comes to zooming in on the celestial objects in the universe is insane. We are seeing stuff that Carl Sagan would be, he'd be dancing in the streets. If Carl Sagan could see the pictures of Pluto, New Horizons, and look, we penetrate that whole, and there it is. There's the sphere. And that would be the planet. This is a young star, seen as it existed 290 million years after the Big Bang. So this is 13.5 billion light years away. Guys, put that in perspective. We're about to see something that is 13.5 billion light years away. Remarkably large. And I should keep the words up there longer. Damn it. Look at the zoom in. My camera here that I'm using for like this YouTube live feed does not have this type of zoom. I spent $800 on my lens. Look at that. 13.5 billion light years away. Why didn't I put any words up on this one? Why not? Why didn't I put any words up on this one? This is another zoom in of, again, this is why you freaking love astronomy. This is why you love the wonder of the universe. Look, every star, every speck that you see is 4 or 5 light years apart, at least. But of course, it's a 2D image of a 3D existence. But look how we zoom in on this shit. Guys, This is why I wanted to be an astronomer. Of course, I was an English major in philosophy. Oh, I forgot what this one is called. I believe this one's about 2,500 light years away. That was a double. You know what that was? That was a double detonation, I think. Was that the double detonation star?
This is our galaxy, as seen by our Gaia Space Telescope. Gaia made 3 trillion observations of 2 billion stars and other objects, giving us the best insight yet of what our home galaxy looks like. In this new animation based on Gaia data, we can identify the Milky Way's central bar and its spiral arms.
That's our galaxy, guys.
Now to the
That
galaxy
is
edge
the Milky
on,
Way. Look at
and can identify its bulge and disk.
See that slight tilt on
Gaia
either side?
shows that our galaxy's disk is warped and wobbles, possibly caused by a collision with another smaller galaxy. Moving further out, Gaia also studied other galaxies around the Milky Way.
Yeah, I think we have about 33.
Such as the large and the small
it's like
Magellanic
smaller.
Clouds, and 40 other companions.
40.
Gaia revealed our galaxy's turbulent history by tracking the movements of streams of stars. Gaia gives a unique view of our Milky Way, scanning our galaxy from the inside out, building a more detailed map than ever before, fundamentally changing what we thought we knew about our home galaxy, where our
There we are.
sun is embedded
There we are.
among
That's us.
billions of stars.
We are in an
This is where we
unremarkable
live.
solar system and an
This is
unremarkable
our home.
part of the galaxy, an unremarkable galaxy. There you go. There we go. That is that is guys, I see stuff like that and I'm reminded why I fell in love with the universe. I'm reminded why I started this entire channel. I think a lot of people, when they see stuff like that, they're reminded as why they love science, why they love everything to do with astronomy, and why it's why guys like Brian Cox, they go out there, they go on tour. Brian Cox is going on a 2-year tour, an arena tour. Brian Cox is doing an arena tour at like $200 per ticket. It's showing, you know what that shows? It just shows that science can sell out. Thousands of people want to come and hear science, right? That's what it shows. Yeah, that's exactly what it shows. And is there, who's UFO Kermit? Well, so UFO Kermit, he says, crazy how we just great close-up pictures of Pluto, but 3i Atlas was grainy as heck and it was closer. Well, no. Kermit, I don't know if you're still online here. The pictures that we got were from New Horizons. It flew within 40,000 miles. 40,000 miles of Pluto. The New Horizons took how many years to get there? 10 years to get to Pluto? Dude, 3i Atlas is only 20 miles across, maximum 20 miles across, and we're trying to photograph it from 300 million miles away. Come on. What, you think there's a conspiracy? What the UFO? Oh, jeez. UFO Kermit, Kim only wants to see what's Kim. That's a reference to a comment I made about Kim Kardashian. I know Kim. I actually know Kim Kardashian. If you Google Danny, Alex, and Kim, you'll know there's pictures of me and Kim. I know Kim. I'm not. Look, she came out. Sometimes I say she thinks she says things just for her TV show. Okay, I know Kim. Kimmy Cakes, Kimmy Kardashian. User play. If you have space engine, if you have a space engine, open it. I don't have a space engine. I don't. So guys, that is really amazing. Like the whole universe thing. It really is. Guys, and it's Christmas. It is Christmas. Did you guys have a good Christmas? Did you have a Merry Christmas? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. We are going to be live tomorrow night. I'm going to have a whole bunch of new stuff. I usually don't go live. So over the holidays, I'm going live a lot more. Just because I've got a few long videos in the pipeline, but it's like, there's not as much people, a question of when do you release the live videos, right? Or not the live videos, but the long form videos. So, but we're going to be live tomorrow between starting at 7:00 Eastern. Friday night, it's going to be casual. We might get into some movie reviews or something, a little bit of space, a little bit of science, a little bit of this and that. Come with your questions, come loaded. Come on, let's do this. I thank you for coming, guys. We're gonna wrap it up here. What is it? 10:00 Eastern time on the East Coast. I thank you. My name is Danny Alex, and this is Dimension Zero. We love science. We love science fiction. We love movies. We love all that stuff. I invite you back for tomorrow night, guys. And I thank you. And I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a safe and Happy New Year.
Do it live!